of day 2 here at the 2017 IAAF World Athletics Championships. We have already seen some great moments here in the Olympic Stadium, 5 years on from the Olympic Games of 2012. A new track, but it is just as fast as the one that witnessed so much drama, so much heartache and glory. And tonight, the Jamaican flags will be waving for the man who says goodbye to the sport he has lit up for the last decade. Usain Bolt will be coming out on track very soon for the semi-finals, and then, all being well, the final, and maybe the last individual gold medal of a glittering career. This is where the individual excellence comes to a close, and then it'll just be the relay for him next week. So many people packed into the stadium, and many still making their way in towards their seats. This is what we've got coming up tonight then. 3 semi-finals, the men's 100. We've got 2 super competitive semi-finals in the women's 15. Finals for the men's discus throwers, the big men, and the long jump. South African hoping to make a piece of history. We've got the 3rd instalment of heptathlon drama, the men's 100-metre final, and the women's 10,000-metre final. And if it's half as good as the fabulous Farah from last night, then we're in for another treat. Alongside me in the commentary box this evening, Peter Matthews, Catherine Merry and Steve Ovett. All 4 of us are really looking forward to the drama this evening. In no particular order, who's looking forward to what the most?
Well, of course, I'm going to be following the heptathlon. I'm not saying looking forward to the most. We've got some fantastic finals. But the heptathlon will be the first action we see. And we have already had a scintillating morning from the favourite, the Olympic champion, Nafi Thiam, although she only has an 8-point lead over Rodriguez of Cuba. But plenty to look forward in that event.
And the field's packed as well, isn't it? But in particular, the men's discus, it's going to be an absolute cracker. Malachowski's there, Harting's there, Stahl's there as well from Sweden. And Stahl's gone into the world top 10 now of all time. And the weather, partly cloudy here this evening, but at the moment, Steve, the sun is shining, and that's what we like. And we see the athletes in the warm-up area. That makes a massive difference, doesn't it, for the athletes? Because tonight's programme goes quite late, so we want it to stay as warm as possible, especially for that man there.
Well, Usain Bolt just relaxing, taking photographs at the moment. Well, that's the race everybody is waiting for, obviously, that 100 metres. And we all hope that this man can pull it off yet again. He is so relaxed. I think there's no question, really, he's in great shape. But also a great 10,000 metres later on with Tunesh Dibaba and Almez Ayana to clash. There's the man that might upset the apple cart, Justin Gatlin. Well, has the American got the sort of form that he needs?
I'm not sure he has. He has 5 successive silvers behind Bolt on the global stage. Surely, if he was ever going to beat Usain, it would have been 2 years ago in Beijing, when he was ripping up tracks, running 9.7s and 9.8s, and he couldn't beat him despite the fact that he was in much better shape. So I don't think it will be Gatlin. Catherine, does Blake have a chance?
Well, he didn't show us anything in the heats. Myself and Steve, we were debating whether he was just being a little bit cautious and potentially a bit lazy, or is he not in the shape that we thought? He's the world number 2 this year, so the semi-finals are going to show us everything, can't they? And you're looking at this guy here as a potential outside chance of a medal as well, the South African.
Maybe, yes, although the issue for Simbine, despite the fact that he's been super consistent in running sub-10s on multiple occasions this year, all of his good times have come way back towards the spring, and he didn't look particularly impressive in qualification. Nonetheless, there is an opportunity. And what will Christian Coleman produce? He's so inexperienced. He's the fastest man in the world this year, but do you read much significance into the fact that he got tight in the US trials and lost to Gatlin by 300ths?
There comes a point in every athlete's career when you hope the penny drops. It could drop for Christian Coleman here. He's lining up against Usain Bolt in the 3rd semi-final. That's going to show us a lot later.
Well, this morning we had a marvellous start to the heptathlon, not least by this young lady, the 22-year-old Nafi Thiam of Belgium, the Olympic champion. Started off with a decent hurdles, 13.54, and then thrilled the crowd with some high jumping. She got right up to 1.95 meters. but she was matched on that, in fact, by a slightly surprised athlete, this young lady, Jorgelis Rodriguez, who set personal best at 189 and then went on to 192 and 195. What a fantastic breakthrough. And she's just 8 points behind Tiam in the standing. The great surprise of the high jump, of course, was that Katrina Johnson-Thompson failed at 186. And that height was cleared by Caroline Schaefer of Germany. Very solid, consistent competitor. Just warming up for the shot there, it looks like, who also matched her personal best at 186. She lies third, 2,165 points. That's just a 40-odd points behind the top two. And then there's quite a big gap behind those three. Those three are, for me, the favourites. But, of course, in a heptathlon, a lot can happen with 5 events still to come. 2 of them this evening. We're going to start with the shot. And there's Nadine Visser, who was the best hurdler in the very first event this morning. Nadine Visser clocking 12.85 in the heptathlon, 100-meter hurdles, getting some last-minute advice on the shot put. One of her weaker events, I have to say. She's had a good run, and we'll see how she fares. She's fourth, 2,088 points.
The long jump also a big event on the field, and this man, Manyonga, the world leader this year, looked very good in qualifying. Not a lot of athletes actually produced their best results in that long jump, so we'll have to wait and see really, because I think the conditions or maybe even the run-up wasn't to their liking. But when this man gets a jump in, he can really lift everybody.
The heptathlon shot put, they're in 2 groups. Most of the best competitors are in Group A. So they start with Vetter and Schaefer, who we've already seen, and also look out there for Tiam, 7th in the order. Bressens had a good start. The Dutch have got a good collection of heptathletes. The young Ukrainian, the youngest in the field, Alina Shuk, former world youth record holder last year. Nana Jimu, perhaps the most experienced, but had a relatively poor start to this competition. So that's Group A. There are, in fact, altogether 30 competitors. We've lost Laura Ignaus y Admedina, who pulled a hamstring in the hurdles, so she won't be competing. Rodriguez, this exciting young Cuban, goes 4th in the order in this second pool. And Visser, who we also saw lying overall in 4th place, is also completing the lineup in Group B. They'll each have 3 throws, measured, of course, against the international scoring tables as usual. So about 5 minutes away then from that start of the shot put, and we'll also be getting our track action underway in a moment as well.
Justin Gatlin goes in the first of the 3 semi-finals, along with Ben Youssef Mighty, very useful athlete from the Ivory Coast who made the Olympic final last year. Gatlin looking relatively relaxed. He's been around for such a long time now. I think he's 35 years of age. As Catherine was saying, Bolt goes in the 3rd. Julian Fort there, the camera's focusing in on him next to Justin Gatlin. Bolt goes in the 3rd, and in the 2nd we have Johan Blake and Christopher Belcher. Justin Gatlin's season's best is 9.95, as we were saying a few minutes ago. That is, by his standards, quite slow coming into a championship, certainly at odds with what he's produced in Rio and Beijing, but he is a great performer on the big stage, and he will want to push the big man close.
Well, now the shot put will be the first to get underway, and the first thrower in the A group will be Anouk Vetter. Now she's lying 9th overall, 2019 points, but a shot is a very good event for her. She has already put exactly 16 meters this season. Just 2 of the competitors have best at 16 meters or more, the other being Antoinette Nana Jimu Ida, and the standard varies down to only just over 12 meters. But Vetter will be seeking to add very useful points to her 2 event standing of 2019, and that in itself is 196 points behind the lead. Tiam, when we come to her, well, she's got a best indoors of 15:35, 15:24 outdoors. So first put of the women's shot put in the heptathlon, the 3rd event of this heptathlon competition. Well, there's lines drawn there at 14 metres and 16 metres, and this was probably just a little short of the 15-metre area. So a decent start for Vetter, although some way short of that personal best. This is an event which will certainly be looking for an excellent point score. That's being measured at the moment by the electronic data measuring equipment, and then quickly that will be translated into points when we get the caption. Vetter waiting just to see what that distance will be. Taking longer than usual. In fact, she's going to be followed by one of the other favourites, Caroline Schaefer, who's got a best just under 15 metres. But, unexpectedly long time in getting that measurement sorted out at the moment. Slightly anxious moments as to see if they've made sure they've actually recorded the mark properly. Trust they have, but we're still waiting for that. As I said, Schaefer will be next. Tiam will be 7th in the throwing order. And then Rodriguez goes in the other group. I'll bring the score when we can get it.
Meanwhile, we prepare for the first of the 3 semi-finals in the men's 100 metres. That is Akani Simbine, 5th last year in Rio. Julian Fort, right of picture there. James Dasaolu, alongside him, James Dasaolu, European champion back in 2014. But it's Gatlin and perhaps Ben Youssef Mighty outside Gatlin to his left, the man from the Ivory Coast who also made the Olympic final last year. 5 consecutive global silver medals behind Usain Bolt for Justin Gatlin. 9.95 this season. What can he produce here to put the big man under pressure in the final? Usain Bolt, of course, the world record holder. The fastest man in the world this year is Christian Coleman. He goes in that 3rd semi-final alongside Usain Bolt. Here's how it works then, of course, across the 3 heats. It's the first 2 plus 2 fastest losers overall. The lineup for the first of 3 semi-finals for the men's 100 metres. Justin Gatlin in 6. Wants to give himself every opportunity for one last attempt to beat Usain Bolt in tonight's final. First, he's got to get there. He starts in 6. Absolutely packed in here again tonight. How could it not be for the curtain coming down on the individual career of the greatest sprinter? That's Simbine in 2, the South African. Really good performer, but has he already peaked this season? Asker Cambridge got a relay silver with the Japanese quartet last year. Then listen to the reception for Great Britain's former European champion, James Dasaolu. He will know there's quality outside him. Julian Fort equalled his PB with 9.99 in the heat. Looked really good, the Jamaican, 2nd in their champs. Justin Gatlin from the United States, one of the most consistent performers over the last 5 or 6 years. He will not be intimidated by crowd or opponent. Ben Youssef Mighty, really nice guy. Spoke to him after the Rio Olympics. He said, making the final was my gold. Has he changed that mindset? He's been excellent this season. Maybe he can get in the shake-up for the medals. Kook Young Kim, 4 times a Korean national champion. Knocked out in the heats last year in Rio, he's already gone better. Zheng Yi Zi got a relay silver as part of that Chinese quartet on home turf in Beijing 2 years ago. Simbine, Cambridge, Dasaolu, Fort, Gatlin, Mighty, Kim, Ji. That's Simbine, the South African. He's in 2. Watch Gatlin in 6. Matey of the Ivory Coast in 7. First of the 3 semi-finals. Only the first 2 guaranteed a place in what could be one of the most memorable 100-meter finals of all time. Cleanly away, and it's a fairly even start. Akani Simbine going well on the far side, and now Justin Gatlin coming through with Mighty closing in as well. And Simbine gets there, 10.06. What a run on the far side. Well, we were talking about the fact that he may well have peaked earlier this season. That was an excellent run from the South African, rounded down to 10.05. Gatlin just getting the nod, I think, ahead of Mighty. Gatlin second in 10.09, so Ben Youssef Mighty will have to wait to see if he can go through as one of the 2 fastest losers. He's been running quick times consistently all throughout this season. Well, he's answered the questions. He didn't peak in May. He's ready to go.
Great run from him, really. He never was headed. Good start. There he is, furthest from us on the inside lane there. Short strides to get going. Justin Gatlin, I thought, was very slow at the blocks and looks really a little bit sluggish at the moment if she's going to challenge Bolt in the final. But you can just see there, relaxed Simbine coming through. Gun to tape. You can't ask for more than that in the 100 metres.
And I think Gatlin, even though he's gone through there, I think he'll be disappointed with that. We've seen him strutting and puffing his chest out in previous semi-finals. He did enough, but only just.
Well, we saw in the heats that some of the athletes were holding back. I think in the semi-finals here, we're seeing the true colours. And if that's the case, then Justin Gatlin really is, as you say, Rob, not in the sort of form he would want to be in, I don't think.
Even if you're waiting for somebody special.
Remember, it was only first 2 to go through, so he was living very dangerously there at some stages, Gatlin, even making the final.
Hopping as well for the key moments, because at 9:45 it will be dark.
Impressive running from the South African. You're right, he was never headed. It was a good start from Britain's James Dasaolu. But look at Gatlin, remember, as Steve mentioned, it was just the top 2. So he got himself in a qualifying position, but he had to work hard for that, the American. Whereas Simbine, well, that was impressive, wasn't it? Ran his own race, brought the form to London. We question whether he could do it, and he's now in the World Championship final.
I thought Gatlin was tight there. So Akani Simbine and Justin Gatlin will be in tonight's final. Matey and Fort will have to wait and see. Surely there'll be quicker men for the fastest loser spots in the 2nd and 3rd semi-finals.
Well, now back to the heptathlon. That's the standings after the 2 morning events. Tiemann Rodriguez over 2,200. Schaefer, Visser, Johnson, Thompson, and Vetter there in 9th place. And in fact, her opening put did come through eventually on the measurement, and that was 13.92. So that's the full standings there of the competitors in this event. Big field, 30 athletes left in, having just lost the Latvian to a hamstring pull in the first event. And there we are, that was Vetter's distance. A little less than I thought, actually, that 13.92. But now we can look at one of the other favourites, the 3rd placer overall after the 2 events, the very consistent German, Caroline Schaefer. Well, she's got a personal best in this discipline of 14 meters 79. Let's see whether she can get close to that. And that's pretty good again. I do admire this athlete. She's so consistently good performance. She never seems to have a poor event. Not particularly brilliant in any of the individual disciplines, but just solid throughout. And that must challenge her personal best. You can see there from the delighted expression on her face. Yeah, it's confirmed. It is a new personal best, 14.84, and she's still well in contention then for a major medal.
Well, back now to this fascinating semi-finals. This is the 2nd of those. And we have perhaps one of the favourites going in lane 4. Johan Blake of Jamaica. Well, we were arguing in the heats whether Blake was in the sort of form that he could produce a result, and he didn't really show it. But he's got a second chance now in this semi-final. We'll have to wait and see. On his outside, Sonny Brown from Japan had a marvellous run in his qualifying, and a lot of people are saying this is the new talent coming through. Well, it's a big ask for a young man to come through. He's just 18 years old, Sonny Brown, but let's wait and see. Matidi, there he is in lane 2 from Liberia, the African bronze medalist at the 200 metres, dropping down to the shorter distance here. But he has run 10.19 this year. Just on his outside, Alex Wilson of Switzerland, transferee from Jamaica. So the Jamaicans obviously have got this man, I suppose, running in a different vest. But here's the man that they're all looking at, Johan Blake. He always looks down, he never looks up at the track. He's just concentrating on what he's got to do. There's the contingent of Jamaicans waiting, obviously, for the success. But this man was really impressive in qualifying. He won his heat 2, and if this is something that's going to go through to the final, then Tokyo in 2019 might have something very special to wait. Bingan Su of China, also very, very strong. Won heat 1. Chinese record holder at the 100 metres. Jack Ali Harvey of Turkey, another transferee from Jamaica. So Jamaica, in one way or another, have got quite a few members in this semi-final. Christopher Boucher of the United States, he was jumping around, looking very nervous before the start, pumping his chest yet again. One experience, really. He ran himself into the team with 3rd place at their championships. And then, obviously, a big favourite for the local crowd, Reece Predcott. PB in the heat, dropping down from 10.09 to 10.03. Matidi, Wilson, Blake, Sonny Brown, Su, Harvey, Boucher, Prescott. Just 2 to go through. It's very, very cutthroat. A lot of nervous tension now in this second semi-final. They're away. Blake got a good start. Sonny Brown obviously not running very well at the moment. Blake is running well on the outside. Matidi going well. Blake is ahead. And in the end, 10.04. Very, very comfortable indeed. Well, on the inside there, I think Prescott may have just got through to the final. We'll have to wait and see. Great run from the Briton. But Blake really has shown his true form in this semi-final. We were a bit worried about him in the heats.
Yes, he got a good start this time, didn't he? But the crowd's attention now is on this man, Reece Prescott, a local man who came through very strongly. A very tall, powerfully built guy, and he got 2nd place there in 10.05, and he is through.
Oh, marvellous run from Blake. Prescott just outside his personal best coming through in the end. That's some impressive performance. Heat and semi-final now for that man.
That is good. He's gone from strength to strength, this young British man. Had a handful of races before he started to take the sport seriously. So Reece Prescott through to the final, but look at the replay. We questioned, well, some of us questioned Johan Blake yesterday in terms of what form he had, but look at that, Steve. He started, he's delivered. Is the turnover and the snap quite there? Not at the moment, but it might be in the final. But look at Prescott in the outside. What a run from the young Briton, the 21-year-old.
Great run from Prescott, but as you see there, it was a massive start there, really, from Blake. He got a metre or so on everybody else. We never saw that in the heats, and that's what he's good at, that fast start. He hung on there. You can see Su there of China dying a little bit at the end, and Prescott just coming through there on the outside lane for that 2nd place.
Well, he's now the 8th British man to make a World Championship final. Reece Predcott, absolutely superb. But Johan Blake, as slow as laboured as you like yesterday, back with a 10.04 win. Only a minus 0.2 win, so maybe not the fastest of times you'd expect so far in the first 2 semi-finals.
Well, we've had no real sort of dipping under the 10 seconds so far, have we? And that's good for someone like Bolt, because if Bolt can run 9.8 or something in the final, then I think that's going to be good enough.
From what we've seen so far, I think it's playing into Bolt's hands, with the one caveat that he is in the third semi-final with the fastest man in the world this year. But what a stage for Christopher Coleman to try and take on Usain Bolt. It is absolutely packed here, but it's all playing into Bolt's hands from what we've seen so far, surely.
This third semi-final, we're going to see something here, and what I mean by that is this is a huge opportunity for the youngster, the new professional in the athletic circuit of Christian Coleman, to potentially deliver a huge performance in a semi-final against the guy who he's trying to dethrone in just a couple of hours' time. Christian Coleman, the world leader from the USA, well, he'll start in lane 4, but Usain Bolt, the man that's done everything, the man that has everything, will start in lane number 6. It's going to be fascinating, this, because what we've seen, like you say, Rob, in the first 2 semi-finals has been nothing special, with no disrespect to any of the other athletes. The spikes say forever on, well, at this moment in time.
But in fact, you know, Blake walked out of that semi-final with a bit of a bounce in his stride, as if to say, well, I'm actually getting into shape, because I think in the heats he was really down.
The American Sharon Day Monroe, one of the very best shot putters, as evidenced by that personal best of 15.62. Here she goes with her first put. Already seen that personal best by Schaefer. Oh, and that's the best we've seen yet. It's possibly over 15 meters, but Monroe Day is, well, she's well down. She's only 21st in the standings with 1,907 points after the first 2 events of the heptathlon. She certainly needs a good shot to move her way up, and she does, and that's the best so far, 15 meters 14. And Krushinova had a good couple of first events. She's lying 6th, 2028, and again, she is a 15-meter shot putter at best. Again, one of these athletes who's very consistent across the whole range of heptathlon disciplines. So just, I think, staying on balance in the circle there. And again, it's midway between those 2 sector lines, drawn at 14 meters and 15 meters. So she's pleased with her start. Opportunity, of course, to improve in the next 2 throws, to add a point or 2, but that's what she was looking for. And a season's best 14.80 to her credit. Now then, it's the turn of Nafissatou, it's known as just Nafi Tiam. Good personal best, 15.35. Did that indoors, also has done an outdoor put well over 15 meters. She leads the competition. The Olympic champion, the 22-year-old, 3rd on the all-time list. Very tall, just again holding her balance there. Oh, that's an excellent start. Very good start there for Tiam, and she really is excelling. She started today with a hurdles in 13.54. She then did 1.95 meters in the high jump, which is her best event, and now she's got the shot put to add to that. 15.17 takes her over 3,000 points already.
So the third and final semi-final in the men's 100 meters. Tada of Japan will start in lane number 2. Emre Zafra Barnes representing Turkey, a transferee from Jamaica. 10.22 to qualify for this semi-final. But here's the world leader with 9.82 seconds, 21-year-old Christian Coleman. Dipped under 10 seconds 6 times this season. Andrew Fisher from Bahrain, another transferee from Jamaica. He'll line up in lane number 5 between Christian Coleman and the greatest of all time. The roar for Usain Bolt. There's only 2 individual races potentially left in this man's career. 11 World Championship golds, 8 Olympic golds, looking for one more before he retires. CJ Uja from Great Britain and Northern Ireland is in good form this year. The British athlete just missed a place in the Olympic final last year. He's ready and bouncing in lane number 7. And then Jimmy Vico of France, the co-holder of the European 100-meter record with Francis Obakwelu, 9.86 at his best, under 10 seconds this season. And then in lane number 9, Green of Antigua and Barbuda, based at Florida State University. The 21-year-old occupies lane number 9 in semi-final number 3. There's your full lineup. Top 2 guaranteed a place in the final. That's 9:45 UK time tonight. The crowd goes silent. The Jamaican contingent is massive in the London Stadium tonight. They've come to see their man Usain Bolt aim to make another and his last World Championship final. Well, it's a clean start. Coleman out reasonably well in lane number 4. Bolt's got a bit of work to do at the moment. Christian Coleman's leading the way. Usain Bolt looks to his left. Christian Coleman looks to his right. Unofficially 9.97 seconds. Well, the American, he got a good start. The world leader. He's admitted in previous races he's had a couple of losses in the last 2 years to Justin Gatlin, that he hasn't got it right mentally. He's now turned professional. He started like an absolute bullet. 9.97 seconds. That's what it's come out officially. And Usain Bolt's looking at the screen because at the moment they've put up the top 4 places and he's not on the board at the moment, but we can assure everybody, he's like, no, it's wrong, I came second.
Don't worry, everyone. Usain Bolt is definitely in tonight's final. Did what he needed to do. A little bit of a slow start from Bolt, came through nicely, and then there was a little Bolt-Andre Grass moment where they were looking at one another. We're still waiting for it to come up. Bolt there, 9.98. But Catherine, that was impressive from Christian Coleman, because there were question marks over whether he'd have the temperament, not the talent, for an occasion as big as this. I thought he conducted himself well in that semi-final.
He did, and he's got to do it again at 9:45 UK time when it really matters. He got out wonderfully well, didn't he? But look at Bolt. There's a lot left in the tank there from the Jamaican. Jimmy Vico was dipping with Britain's CJ Uja, looking for a time. Obviously, we want 2 non-automatic qualifiers. And Jimmy Vico, well, he's clocked 10.09 seconds, beating CJ Uja by 3/100ths.
And that 10.09 will get him through into the final.
Yeah, along with Bing Jianzhu. And I think, actually, Steve and I were just talking before you were commentating there, Catherine. It's a mark of how open the battle is for the medals, that 10.09 and 10.10 has been good enough to go through as a fastest loser. In previous Worlds and Olympics, you'd have been looking at 9.95, 9.96 to go through as a fastest loser.
Doesn't mean the standard's any worse, though. It's cool conditions, slight headwind sometimes as well. This is not conducive to very fast times.
I think the most important thing about that race was Coleman ran almost to the line. Almost. Bolt eased down slightly. Coleman just looked across at one stage and saw that yellow vest coming up. And I think that's going to be a big, big worry when it comes to the final.
And what will be interesting is the lane draw for the final at 9:45 tonight UK time, because there was Fisher, the Bahrainian athlete, was between these 2 athletes this time. What's going to happen at 9:45 is that the rest of the world once again are going to try and come and beat the greatest of all time.
It's that classic situation, I think, with Coleman, is that he'll probably be in front. He starts faster than Bolt, I think. But will he tense up when he sees Bolt start coming at him in the last 20 metres or so?
We will see, because the final will be set later. And there's your 2 automatic qualifiers, Christian Coleman and Usain Bolt, 9.97 and 9.98. The only 2 athletes in the semi-finals that went under the 10-second barrier. And there's confirmation. The USA at the moment going into the final, heading the 2 Jamaican athletes. Wonderful running from Reece Prescott from Great Britain, Northern Ireland. Gatlin's there, Vico's there. 9:45 UK time, the men's 100-metre final. So from the fast guys on the track, to the discus throwing strongmen of the field. The men's discus throw final, that's Mason Finley of the USA, an Olympic finalist last year. But this is the guy who's looking for world gold, Daniel Stahl of Sweden. 71 meters and 29 this season, the world leader. Andreas Gusias, 26 years old, over 68 meters this season, the Lithuanian. And here's Gert Kanter. This is his 8th World Championships. He's got a full set of World Championship medals, the 38-year-old. Parelis of Cyprus, Commonwealth Games silver medalist in 2014, Olympic finalist in Rio. Schmickel of Jamaica, an astonishing improvement in his first year as a senior 5 years ago. But here's a 3-time world champion, Robert Harting of Germany. Simon Pettersson of Sweden. Just under 65 meters this World Championship season. Robert Urbanek of Poland, a bronze medal 2 years ago in Beijing. Looking for more of the same here in London. Lukáš Vajšadinger of Austria, 6th at the Rio Olympics last year. 63.5 meters to qualify for this final. Fredrik Dekers of Jamaica, having a great season, the Jamaican. One of the athletes in a hunt for a medal in this men's discus throw. And Wojciech Malachowski, the defending world champion, 5th on the all-time list. And for me, rounding into shape at the right time. So that's your lineup of 12 athletes for the men's discus throw final. Really should be a good battle. The defending champion, Malachowski, Harting, the 3-time world champion, Stahl of Sweden, now in the top 10 of all time. Will be starting very, very shortly.
Yes, could be a clash of the generations there, as we now look at Katrina Johnson-Thompson, open with a pretty modest 12:01. Well, we know she's had some difficulties with her throws, epitomised last year. Has she got much better? Well, that is better. She's still not really approaching her personal best, which is 13:01, but not the catastrophe almost that was the scene when she was throwing last year. But of course, she has got that very, very disappointing high jump at only clearing her opening height of 1.80 meters. Shot put, a weak event for her. She'll end the evening, I trust, in good form with the 200 meters. She's possibly even the best in the field at that, and has improved to 12:47. Now Rodriguez, the Cuban, lying second after the first 2 disciplines after brilliant high jumping, now in the shot. She started with a fairly modest put, 12:49. She has gone over 14 meters. And that's better because it's getting close to the 14-meter line. Still a little way short, because she's certainly moved into medal contention with the absence of Ikanyetsi, Adredina and Johnson-Thompson below form. And Rodriguez with a super start in the hurdles, and above all the high jump with those 3 personal bests. So this is an improvement. Yes, 13:45. She's now up to 2.964 points. Anouk Vetter, in the first round, she was a little below par really at 13.92, and she's a 16-meter putter. Exactly that this year as her season's best. Oh, that's better. Yeah, that looks like a 15-meter put. The best we've seen, of course, being Tiam and Damon Rowe getting over 15 meters. And Vetter is the 3rd athlete, I think, that is over that distance so far. Take a check on the distance as we look again. Good polished technique by Vetter. I mean, she's not big for a shot putter, but she's got good technique, rewarded with 15:09. She stays in 4th place.
So, the opening throw, the men's discus throw final. Mason Finley, excuse me. Finley, first throw in the final. Oh, well, that's an impressive throw from Finley. His personal best is 66 meters and 72, which he set last year. So the American, the US champion this year, threw just under 65 meters to qualify, has opened up with a very good throw indeed. Twice now the US champion. Well, indeed, he should be pleased. Mason Finley, 67.07, opens the final with a personal best. Discus of Lithuania. Oh, the speed. Well, he veers towards the left of the sector. Everybody chasing that early throw. The opening throw of Mason Finley. Discus, the Lithuanian, looks around about 67.5 meters. He's thrown over 68 meters 3 times this season. Well, 67 meters and 52. He now slots himself into the early lead in the men's discus final. Cantor, the Olympic champion back in 2008. Medals from 5 world championships. Just missed one, though, a couple of years ago in Beijing. Opening his account. 63.61 to qualify for this discus final in his 8th world champs. Now he's going to drop just over the, or around the 60-meter line for his opener. The Estonian Post Office issued a stamp in his honor. This guy has been such a stalwart of discus throwing at a world-class level, not just for Estonia, but for the world of athletics. So he's going to be around the 60-meter line with his first throw, 59 meters and 72. And the semi-finals are done. And the big man and the rest of the field in that men's 100-meter final back to the warm-up area for just a little bit of time to tick over. You don't really do much between semis and finals when it's so close on a timetable. You warm, you stay warm, you relax, and you get your mind ready.
Well, please don't go out wherever you are in the world. You only have to wait about another 1 hour and 10 minutes to watch the very last individual race of Usain Bolt's career. Now to the first of the semi-finals in the women's 1500 meters. And this is arguably one of the most competitive events of the 2017 IAAF World Championship. Genzebe Dibaba, the world record holder, the defending champion, the Olympic silver medalist. She goes in this one. This is brutal qualification, as it always is in the 15. The first 5 plus 2 fastest losers across the 2 of the semi-finals. There's the official lineup then. Caster Semenya, a massive season's best from the 800-meter specialist in the heats, looked really good. Jess Judd with a PB to qualify for the semis for Great Britain, and Genzebe Dibaba, the world record holder, 3:50. Amazing performance in Monaco. Laura Muir of Great Britain. Many people here certainly hope she can get in the mix for a medal, but this is a really, really competitive event. Kate Grace on the outside, made the final of the 800 last year. Then Gudas Sege, world indoor bronze medalist last year, world junior silver medalist back in 2014, inside 4 minutes this year. Laura Muir is sure to get a massive reception. National record holder, 7th last year. She said she got her tactics right in Rio, she just didn't quite have the pace. The defending champion, the world record holder, the Olympic silver medalist. Multiple record holder and world indoor champion. This is Dibaba's chance to get in the final and lay down a big marker. Jess Judd, fabulous run in the heats, 4:03. She took it out, gave herself every opportunity of making the semis. Can she do so again and go one further for the final? Rafi of Morocco, then Zoe Buckman of Australia, Klein, talented German, Caster Semenya, Hitochka of Poland, Cifuentes, Pan American silver medalist for Canada, And then on the inside, talk about a loaded heat. You've got the world record holder and the defending champion in Dibaba. How about the Commonwealth champion and Olympic champion, Faith Kipyegon? Silver behind Dibaba 2 years ago in Beijing. They swapped the 1-2 last year in Rio. So if you said Kipyegon and Dibaba were favourites to go through, that only leaves 3 spots from the others gathered here. Tough qualification. The first of the 2 semi-finals in the women's 1500 metres are underway. Will it be tactical or will it be fast? And it looks as though it's Great Britain's Jessica Judd who has decided to go for the front. Kate Grace is coming wide on the outside. Dibaba and Sege just clash shoulders there, but it's the world record holder who's on the Britain's shoulder. Kate Grace is running wide on the outside for the United States, and despite the fact that Judd's at the front, this looks pretty steady, Steve O'Beck.
Yeah, she's doing a good job, Rich. She's keeping out of trouble. She's not going as fast as she did in the heats, but she really went hard for that first 400 metres or so. So she's taking it easy, keeping out of trouble. Remember, it's the first 5 to go through. They might just leave it for the last 400 metres. And if that's the case, you've got to be at the front. You make sure that you're there, because when everybody starts sprinting, you don't want to lose 2 or 3 metres on the rest of the field. Oh, one of the athletes going down there, I think it's Sergei of Ethiopia, caught the heels of a teammate, I think, and went crashing into the track.
Yes, it was Sege who went down. Luckily for Dibaba, the world record holder, the defending champion, she stayed on her feet. Sege is way off the pace here, but it is possible that some miracle might happen. If it stays this slow, maybe she could claw her way back to the group, but that just shows what happens when the pace is too slow early on.
65.13 at 400, much slower than Judd run yesterday.
Judd leads. Arafi on the inside. Then Dibaba, Kate Grace is there, and no move yet, Steve, from Caster Semenya.
Yes, well, we just passed her by when the lineup, the TV cameras went past her very quickly, but they shouldn't really, because this is a woman that could cause real danger in this 1500 metres, especially in a slow race. She has very, very fast speed when it comes to the last lap. But Judd doing as best as she can now, keeping this a really honest race.
There's Sege. That's a real shame for the world indoor bronze medalist. She looks as though she's emotional here. She's not going to catch this group. She's going through the motions, but all credit to her for deciding to get up and finish the race. Meanwhile, 66.7 for that lap. Arafi's on the inside, Dibaba on the outside, Semenya, the muscly, powerful-looking South African, tucked in around about halfway through that group, and she looks comfortable.
Kate Grace of United States also running well there, Rob. She's in about 4th place. She's run everything right so far, keeping out of trouble. It's a slow race, and that's where you want to be, right up the front on the last lap.
They're just beginning to stretch out a little bit. Judd has done a great job here. Can she keep it going in the inevitable burn-up for the top 5? Arafi still sticking like glue to Jess Judd. And now the big names are coming on the outside. Kipyegon and Laura Muir. They take the bell in the first of the semi-finals in the women's 1500 metres. Judd, the long-term leader, has been put back in the pack. And it's the gold and silver medalists from Rio. Faith Kipyegon, Genzebe Dibaba, Laura Muir on the outside. Remember, it's only 5. Caster Semenya going well down the back straight. Hikochka and Arafi trying to find a way through on the inside. This is good running from Laura Muir. Semenya looks a little bit tired there. Dibaba's going backwards. We'll have to keep our eye on that. Kipyegon leads from Laura Muir. Arafi, Hikochka, Semenya coming wide. Genzebe Dibaba's blocked at the moment, and that would be a real shock if the defending champion didn't make the final. Kipyegon's looking good, so too Laura Muir, and a gap now as Hikochka comes through into 3rd place. Semenya is 4th, and Dibaba is well beaten here. Faith Kipyegon and Laura Muir, great run from the Briton here in 2nd place. Kipyegon, Muir, Semenya, Hikochka, those are the first 4. That is an excellent run from the Briton, but what on earth happened there to Genzebe Dibaba? She looked a shadow of the athlete who won the title 2 years ago.
Well, great run from Kipyego. We knew that she was going to be a danger. She really did everything right there in that race. Unfortunately, I think for Dibaba, she got herself a bit blocked with about 200 metres to go, and she started to panic. She was looking around, she was trying to find a gap, and there was no gap, because in a fast race or fast last lap of a slow race, everybody is there. Laura Muir ran really well, the Great Britain athlete, coming on the outside, and in the end taking that second place. Well, that's just upset, obviously, for Sergei. She hit the track very hard. I think there was no way she was going to get back. But the Kenyan, a perfect run from her, really. Dibaba, I think now we'll have to wait. I'm not sure whether that's going to be good enough, Rob, really. Very slow race for the first part. They did pick it up, but the time might be significant.
Well, Genzebe Dibaba has finished in 6th, so she is, at the moment, the quickest of the fastest losers, with 4:05.33. Rafi was 7th in 4:05.75, and actually good run from Hannah Klein, the German, to come through for the 5th automatic spot. The athletes in the second semi-final will know what they have to do to get 7 through to the final.
Oh, Hitosuka coming through in 3rd, but also the menacing figure, I think, there of Semenya coming through right at the end, as she did in the heats, just taking her time, just making sure that she qualifies as easily as possible. That's another one they've got to watch out for in the final.
Really good run from Laura Muir, because I think from a British point of view, Steve, too many people are hanging medals around her neck, and perhaps they don't realise how competitive this event is, but that was great tactical awareness from Muir to go through on Kipyegon's shoulder.
Yeah, great run from Muir, and I think the fact that maybe one of the big favourites going out in Gazeti Dibaba was going to be a major factor for most of these athletes. Here we see, really, I think this is Sergei going down, yes, just catching the heels of a teammate of all people, I think, and hitting the track pretty hard. There it goes.
It was Kipyegon, actually, I think. Kipyegon just caught Sergei, and once she went down, you thought perhaps there might be some heroics and she could get back in, but she looked visibly upset at what had happened. Kipyegon, the Commonwealth champion, the Olympic champion, only has 1 medal missing from her collection. She wants the world title, and she's got herself into the final, looking very good indeed. Laura Muir will get massive support come the big showdown. The first group are through. Faith Kipyegon, Laura Muir, Caster Semenya, Hitochka looked really good. Klein, Dibaba, the defending champion, will have to wait to see if she can go through as one of the 2 fastest losers.
So back into the field, round number 2. Mason Finley from the USA. Opened with that 67 metres and 7 centimetres. Finds himself still in a medal position at the end of the first round. And that's going to be another improvement for the American. Well, Gudzius, the Lithuanian, in the first round through the 67.52 metre lead. And wow, well, this American was at the University of Wyoming. His father was a thrower, and he's already increased his personal best in the first round to 67.07, and another personal best by nearly a metre of 68.03. So, Daniel Stahl, second round. Well, normal service is being resumed for the Swedish star. He's been so consistent this season. He's won 12 out of his 16 competitions. He threw that huge 71.29, 9th on the all-time list, back on the 29th of June. 69 metres and 19. Slots himself into the gold medal position. Gudzius, well, he gives it a yell. Open with 67 metres and 52. Oh, well, this is turning out to be the discus final we were hoping for here in London. Remember, Stahl just threw 69 metres and 19. This is going to challenge the lead of the Swedish athlete. Oh, 69 metres and 21, a personal best. He now goes into the gold medal position.
Well, no, this is a fairly modest event for her, but she can probably put a little further than 12.96. Let's see if in her last attempt she can indeed manage to do just that. So Nanook Visser, she has got a best of 13.89. Not as good a putter as better, but yeah, that certainly adds a little. Well, I say certainly, I think it adds a little. It's not quite as far as she'd like. She'd just love to have another metre on this particular put. We've still got 3 women over 15 metres here in this shot put, the third event of the heptathlon. Tiam comfortably in the lead now. And Visser, yeah, it was the best of the day, 12.96, and she's lying 6th overall.
Well, drama aplenty with the first heat of the women's 1500 metres. The Ethiopians there will have to wait now. Dababa watching this second semi-final with great interest to the fact that she's in the position where she might not even make the final if the fastest loser runs faster than 4 minutes 5:33. Sarah McDonald of Great Britain.
She's been in 2 successive Olympic finals at 1500 metres.
UK champion at 1500 metres. Laura Waitman, coached by my old running, I suppose, partner, Steve Cram. 2 successive finals at the 1500 metres.
Moving across the field.
Well, this woman really is a find this year, really. Constance Klosterhausen. She ran really well in qualifying for this after taking it up all the way through. Well, and the one that I think is perhaps tactically the most superior in this field, Jennifer Simpson, never really puts a foot wrong. She's got a great running mind. The bronze medal from the Olympics and the gold medalist back in 2011. Safan Hassan, yeah, I watched her in the qualifying. She didn't look as good as I thought she was going to be. The world indoor champion at 1500 metres. She left herself a little bit to make up on the last lap, and that wasn't good, really. There's the last 2 athletes in this big field again. 12 athletes, just 5 to qualify. They've just watched that first semi-final. They know what they've got to do to make this a fair race, as they say. Well, they break. Let's just see who wants to take up the rhythm of this first lap to make it a fair race, as Judd did in the first of these semi-finals. Just on the inside there, Chebet of Kenya maybe just moving ahead, but I think it's Waitman now that comes through, the British athlete, just on the shoulder of the little Kenyan on the inside. Don't think this pace is as fast, perhaps, as the first semi-final, but Waitman now maybe is starting to move through, making an honest race. Simpson just on her outside there, the American in the blue vest. And we're seeing Klosterhausen there in the yellow vest. Maybe just she might take it up with a lap or so to go. Let's wait and see.
Well, Steve, it will be interesting to watch the clock at 400 metres, because I was looking at the personal bests, and 11 of the 12 athletes here have run faster than the 4:05.33 they would need to beat against Dababa. So surely, if you don't think you've got the sprint to kick, it's in your interest to be brave, go as hard as possible, because you might go through as one of the 2 fastest losers, but it's slower.
They're not doing it. I mean, they should do. 67.17. One point to note, Hassan right at the back of the field, as she tends to run too often, as Steve would say.
Yeah, this is a strange way of running this race. Whiteman maybe doing the right thing, just keeping out in front, but in this sort of slow race, it could be anybody over the last 400 metres. So they've just kept the way they are over that first lap. Waitman just leading, Simpson just behind her. Just on the inside there, you can see Chebet, the tiny, diminutive little figure of the Kenyan athlete. On the outside, Klosterhausen just coming through. Look, you could throw a blanket over the whole field here at this sort of pace.
And this is silly in one sense, in regard that if you think you might get out-sprinted by the likes of Klosterhausen and Jenny Simpson, who's such a tactical campaigner, and Sado, then you're missing out on an opportunity. And as soon as we say that, there goes Klosterhausen. And what an exciting young talent she really is, Steve. She's gone under 4 minutes a couple of times this year. once at the German Champs where she ran solo 3:59. She's decided enough's enough.
Yeah, the hammer's gone down. Heptathlon is a great front runner. She's obviously knows she hasn't got the speed over the last lap. She doesn't look like a fast athlete, but look at the way she's ripping through this field at the moment. 20-metre gap in the space of 200 metres. Just behind Chebet, just hanging in there with Simpson just behind her. Now they've got the problem. If that means that one of the places is gone, there's only 4 more now for these athletes to fight for. Hassan has decided that she's got to come through. She knows that because the pace is moving fast up in front. Barta, she ran well in the qualifying too, just on the outside there from Sweden, just coming through in the yellow vest. But there's a gap now of 20 metres as Klosterhalfen really is pushing it on.
Great work to see such brave front running in a race that was heading into a sprint finish. They are beginning to close on Klosterhalfen as Hassan now pours on the pace with Barta in third, and these three with a gap, and suddenly there are only a couple of spots available and it's all stringing out down the back straight.
Well, Klosterhalfen is faltering a little bit. Hassan's coming hard now with 200 metres to go. And Hassan from the Netherlands takes up the lead with 200 metres to go. Just behind her, Barta of Sweden also there. These two maybe are clear. Can Klosterhalfen hang on for that all-important 5th place? Just behind Simpson, as always, making the right move. Not doing too much, but doing enough to get through maybe. But they're closing down behind her as well. Just behind her, Chebet also on the inside, coming through. It's Chebet coming through on the inside. Simpson, though, is holding them off. And it's going to be really, in the end, a close finish. The winning time, though, 4:03, is a marvellous performance for Hassan. Good run from her. Well, as we said before, in the heats, she left it too late. But she knew in the final she just had to get in front and keep that rhythm going.
Yeah, good run from Hassan. And the crowd were getting excited because Laura Waitman managed to come through on the inside for 4th place, I think. Jenny Simpson made sure with 4:05 plus change. You might be able to hear the crowd responding. And it was Akaui who hung on for 5th place, the Moroccan. Enaui of Poland was in 5th place with 4:05, and then Chebet in 4:06, just waiting for the confirmation. And Genzebe Dababa, the defending champion, will go through to the final as one of the fastest losers. But my goodness me, she was really living dangerously there.
Great run for Hassan. We thought that maybe she would be a big danger in this race, but she was lingering too long at the back. Klosterhalfen, I think, did the main damage. I think by doing that, she really strung the other athletes up. They thought, right, we've got to start moving now. And that's exactly what Hassan did. Just behind her, though, also running really well, Maref Barta of Sweden. Those two clear and away. Simpson always doing enough to just qualify. There she is in 3rd place. And just behind her, you can see Laura Waitman coming through just in the end for 4th place. And qualifying, I suppose you could say easily, but it was pretty tough. There's an awful lot of women coming through that line at the same time.
I guess it's just a shame from the point of view of those trying to get those fastest loser spots that by the time they'd done the first lap in 67.5, they were already putting themselves under pressure. So it was brave from Klosterhalfen, but you might say it was even too late at that point if she felt she was going to get out sprinted for the top 5. Watch Waitman there, just behind Jenny Simpson, grimacing, pushing, trying to find a way through, and she does, coming past Akaui, who just shaded out Enaui on her right-hand side. Good run there by Waitman, who is a 2-time Olympic finalist, and she's made the world final here behind Jenny Simpson. Well, what a great final that's going to be.
Well, there it is, the result of that 2nd semi-final. Hassan coming through in the end over the last 200 metres, 4:3.77. Barta just behind her. Simpson, I think, is a good runner, and I think in the final might be up there in the medals yet again. Laura Waitman, a good run from her. She did everything she had to do. And Akui taking that all-important 5th place. Well, Genzebe Dababa will breathe a major sigh of relief. There's the qualifiers for the women's 1500 metres. Kipyegon, I think, the Olympic champion, does look very good. She did everything she had to do. Laura Muir, I thought, also run well. Semenya is the big, I suppose, hidden factor in that 1500 metres. If she can produce the result and the talent that she's got, she will be a danger to anybody. Because Evie DeBarber, there she is, qualified. Well, you wouldn't have thought that as one of the slowest of the finishers in those semi-finals.
I agree with you, Steve. I think Kipyegon, arguably the favourite for that one. It should be a fantastic final.
Second round of the men's discus final. Discus of Jamaica. Open with a 65 metres and 62. Well, it's over the 65-metre line again. Remember, Discus of Lithuania leading the way with his throw in the second round of 69 metres and 21, 2 centimetres ahead of Stahl of Sweden. Finley from the USA currently in the bronze medal position, but 65 metres and 70, it's a small improvement. In fourth place, Malachowski of Poland. 63 metres and 96 in the first round. Between himself and Robert Harting, they've won the last 4 world titles. Their history, their battles over the last few years in discus have been pretty epic. But the Polish athlete, well, it's going to be an improvement on his first round throw. Doesn't look particularly happy though, does he, the defending champion? Twice an Olympic silver medalist. So he's got to get near up over the 68-metre line, which he hasn't done in that second round throw to get onto the podium at the moment.
Nadine Brøsen, third put, last chance for her to improve on 13.91, lying 7th, as you can see on that caption overall so far, and maybe a bit. It's just about 14 metres there, so her best probably coming at the last. And we've seen all 3 of the Dutch competitors here. Really challenging for a medal, but certainly well up in the top 10 places, each of them. Really no major change in this competition, but Brøsen 14.09, her best coming at the last. So maintaining a good competition for her. And there's the result of the shot. Thiam, the best of the day, so increasing her lead with that 15.17. Day, Monroe and Vetter also over 15.09. Personal best there for Schaefer. So just looking further down, the young Ukrainian, Shuk, close to her best, 13.75 as well. But 2 of the big names coming into this competition, not amongst those top competitors. Katrina Johnson-Thompson only just around 12.40. There it is, 12.47. So she'll drop further back in the overall standings, I'm afraid. But Thiam is having a really splendid competition. The young Belgian won the Olympic title, came here as favourite, and is doing everything possible to justify that. So that completes 3 events in the heptathlon. They'll be back for 1 more today, the 200 metres, with Thiam leading at 3.087, from Schaefer 3.015, Rodriguez 2.964. And right now, those look the favourites. The young Dutch competitors, 4th, 6th and 7th overall. Johnson-Thompson indeed has slipped way back, suffering of course from that high jump. And also the Americans not doing so well. Bugard there, back in 22nd place. That's disappointing for her as we finally complete the 30 competitors in the women's heptathlon.
Weicherdinga of Austria, round number 3, is in 9th position. Remember, all athletes in these field event finals get 3 attempts, so in this case 3 throws to get into a top 8 position, to get 3 more. He's got to improve. He's got to get himself into the top 8. His best to date, 63 metres and 76. But the red flag's been raised. Oh, so the Austrian athlete, well, he walked out the front of the circle in the end. He's not going to finish in a top 8 position. So the athlete that was 6th in the Rio Olympics last year He's finished his campaign here in London. Discus of Jamaica. Now, he's thrown 68 meters and 88 this season. We know he's got the talent, but he's whacked the side of the cage. You can see his frustration as he walks out the front. He is in 4th place overall, so he will get another 3 throws in this men's discus final, but it's not clicking just yet for the Jamaican. 2 Jamaicans in this men's discus throw final. Schmeichel and Discus leading the way for the Jamaicans in the field, but 65 meters and 70 stays in 4th place. Wojciech Malachowski then of Poland. Those 2 Olympic silvers I mentioned, one was in Beijing in 2008, he took silver in Rio. Won't surprise you if I tell you he's a former nightclub bouncer and fireman. Big chap, strong chap. Super at the discus as well, so Malachowski. Well, the big thick white line of 65 meters. It's not going to be an improvement, it's probably just going to fall shy of his 65 meters and 14 best, so 5th position, a couple of places off the podium. Sitting at the moment behind Discus, the Jamaican. So, Woodsius, Stahl, Finley, no improvement. 64 meters and 88, stays in 5th.
Well, we go from the throws to the big other field event final, the men's long jump over the far side of the stadium. And everybody will be looking at the South Africans in this event, I think. Manyongo, who has produced the biggest jump this year with that massive 8.65. But it won't be easy for him. All the athletes really had a lot of problems, really, in qualifying.
The men's long jump.
Well, here's the fanfare that all the athletes have just before the final. Don't you just love it? Bit of pageantry. Got to have it over here, haven't we, really?
In the final of the men's long jump, let's meet them now.
Well, the men's long jump just being introduced to the crowd now.
First,
well, the Australian Fabrice Lapierre, former world indoor champion, 33 years of age now. Season's best of 8.03. Then the big man himself, Luvo Manyonga, Commonwealth record holder of 8.65. And Michael Masso of Cuba, 4th in the world and the Youth Junior Championships. Still a junior now, he's only 18 years of age. Jarian Lawson of the United States, the former sprinter, won the 100, 200 long jump and the long jump and the triple jump in the collegiate championships. While the other good South African that could produce an upset, I suppose, or get 1 and 2 in this, Rashwal Stramai. This man produced the biggest jump in the qualifying, 8.24. Radak Jusek. From China, one of the good of the Chinese athletes that actually qualified. They had 3, but only 1 made this final. Wang, bronze medalist in 2013. Damar Forbes of Jamaica, 4 times the Jamaican champion. Alexander Menkov, competing as one of the authorized neutral athletes. One of the other big favourites from Sweden, Mikael Tornius, 4th at the London Games, missing a bronze by just 1 centimetre. Emiliano Lasca of Uruguay. And sorry, there's the other Chinese athlete. I forgot about him, really, the junior, Liu Shi. Qualified with that jump of 8.06. I said that the qualifiers were a little bit low in their performances, the jumpers in qualifying, and it's yet to see whether they can actually bring their form back into this final.
But Steve, Manyonga could be one of the stories of the championship as we look at Lapierre, because a lot of people are very excited about what he might produce. I mean, he's jumped 8.65 this year as we watch Lapierre, and just to put that into context, no one in the world has jumped further than 8.65 since Dwight Phillips in 2009. That is how good Manyonga can be if he gets it right.
Well, the tracksuits are coming off. It's starting now to get down to the serious business of producing the goods. Fabrice Lapierre, as I said, the former world indoor champion. Through the European circuit, he was 10th in Stockholm, 3rd in Austin. There's his coach on the inside of the track over there at the back straight. All the coaches watching intently as our athletes produce the goods. He is really a talent, Lapierre, but he hasn't really produced it in the last 2 or 3 years. Always runs up with these chain in his teeth. Fast on the runway. Oh, that's a good, reasonable first jump. Close to the, or not over the 8-meter mark. Obviously, we expected to see much bigger than that sometime in this competition, but that's not a bad start. A comfortable start. Remember, they've got to get a good jump in the first 3 jumps to forward on to the next 6. Good on the board, just behind it. Good height, this man. Just lacking a little bit of speed, really, in his approach to the board. There it is, just below that 8 meters, 7.89. A little bit of a headwind there too, just a shade, but not really too much to worry these, I think, long jumpers. Well, here we go. What an exciting as man this man is when he gets it right. A little bit of a problem with his run-up in the qualifying, but he is capable of a massive jump. Manyonga. This could be a big event for the South Africans, really.
This could be very, very special, Steve, if it all clicks. Let's see.
Oh, it's clicked. That's a massive jump, but the red flag goes up. Wow. He's laughing, but that was, again, just showing you what this man can do. That was close, I think, to about 8.50. Look at that. Oh, well, it's not just a marginal foul. It's 5 centimetres over. So, yes, it's something which wasn't really debatable. But there it is. Good speed, height. He's looking at the sand already. Leg shoot comes out. There it is. Perfect technique. Well, we switched very quickly from the long jump to this other major final. The great race now. 35 women coming out now for the 10,000 metres final.
A really intriguing race, this one. It's so hard to pick a winner. Yesterday was all about what the field could do to one man, Mo Farah, to try and dethrone him. But we will get to that start. They're a couple of minutes away from getting going, just beneath us. Meanwhile, the long jump runway is occupied once again.
Mikael Masco of Cuba, one of the possible medalists. He comes in very fast, and that's a massive jump again. And the red flag goes up. Oh. Well, they are really coming good in this final after disappointing qualifying rounds. He shakes his head. Let's just see how far that was. He's looking at the plasticine. Oh, yeah, another one, though. That was, again, well over the board. Wow.
It shows the intent, though, doesn't it, Steve, in this men's long jump final? The athletes trying to get a good one early doors in the first round, put the pressure on the other athletes.
Well, he's such a young athlete, just 18 years of age, this Cuban. I mean, he's got a real talent. He came down that runway really fast, hit the board, and just, as you say, 6 centimetres over it. Wow. Next up, it's going better and better. Jarian Lawson, United States. He won the 100 metres and 200 metres and long jump, the collegiate championships. So he's fast, and obviously he's got the ability to produce a big jump if he has to. But you've seen what's been going on just in the last 2 or 3 jumps in front of him. He's best, season's best as well. 8:33. Yeah, let's get the crowd going. Come on. This is a great competition over there. And they're starting to enjoy it. Lawson now charging down the runway. The big American. Oh, another jump. Is the red flag going up or not? No, it's white this time. He knows it's good. Wow, this is really starting to set them the light over the back straight. That's a massive. This should be a personal best. Just to wait and see.
Absolutely perfect on the board, Steve. They've all been threatening big jumps. Lawson has landed a legal one, but how big is it?
We're just waiting to see now. That is a good jump to have one. 8:37. Wow, a massive performance. Season's best for this big man, and that's going to set the tone for the rest of the athletes in this long jump.
Now to the final of the women's 10,000 metres. A huge field assembled here. There is massive talent, especially from the usual nations of Ethiopia and Kenya. That's Alice Aprot Nawawuna. She's usually known as Aprot. She was 4th last year in Rio with one of the quickest times in the world this year. Emily Infeld got a bronze medal, a surprise bronze a couple of years ago. Beth Potter, 2 lines of course. And Tirunesh Dibaba, the greatest 10,000 metre runner in history. Double Olympic champion, triple world champion. Is there one more moment of magic for her? Almaz Ayana scorched to a new world record in one of the stunning Rio performances last year, winning the 10,000, but she hasn't raced at all in 2017. Agnes Tirop, world cross-country champion 2 years ago, 5th earlier this year in Kampala, 31.56 at altitude in the trials. And to run that back in Nairobi, that is very good running indeed. Yasmin Khan, former Kenyan representing Turkey, 6th last year in the 5,000 in Rio. Done a very useful European under-23 double over the 5 and 10 just a month or so ago. Uiharu and Wodak. And Irene Cheptai there, camera's just flashing past her. She's the reigning world cross-country champion. And then Dera Dida on the inside, Ethiopia's national champion over 10,000 metres and cross-country. A huge field. The drama of 25 laps is about to unfold.
10,000 metres underway.
So they are underway. And I guess, Steve, the biggest question here is, what kind of form is Almaz Ayana in? Because she was absolutely incredible. She didn't just break the world record last year, she smashed it by 14 seconds. So the story with her is, she was supposed to do the 5,000 at the Rome Diamond League and was injured. She was then back for Monaco, but the Ethiopian Federation refused her the opportunity to run. So we have absolutely no clue as to what, if any, kind of form she brings here to London.
Well, that's very true, but you can never underestimate this woman because she is a serious talent, really is natural talent too. We saw, in the Olympic Games what she could do if she just gets it right. She is a beautiful runner. And I think for the 10,000 metres, as opposed to some of the shorter distances, you can get that strength in training. You don't need to repeat it in races too often. They don't run too many 10,000s when they're in the best of shape. So really, that's probably not going to be a major factor, but as long as she's fit, she's going to be a major danger. Tirunesh Dibaba, well, that great marathon, the London Marathon, that's obviously going to be in her legs. She's now moving towards the longer distances, and she's only run really 10K, and that was on the roads. So for her as well, she's unknown at the distance on the track.
Well, the romantics might think that one more moment of magic from Tirunesh Dibaba would be absolutely incredible. She, in fact, emulated the great Duratu Tulu last year, because Tulu was a double Olympic champion over 10,000 and got the bronze in her quest to make it 3, and that was exactly what Tirunesh Dibaba produced last year, when, let's not forget, en route to that bronze, she set a lifetime best in what was the 4th fastest time in history. So if Dibaba has managed to add a little bit of speed work to her profile to complement the sub-2:18 marathon, which, by the way, puts her 3rd on the all-time list, an Ethiopian record holder over the marathon. There is Dibaba, running on the outside of Modi Huddle. If she's managed to get a bit of speed work in, you can't rule Tirunesh Dibaba out from producing yet another golden moment over a distance at which she has dominated for a decade.
Well, there's Ayana, but long way to go yet in the women's 10,000, I should say. So the track final now just being replaced by the long jump. Samai, now the other very, very good South African in this long jump. There it is, that 8:49. Well, there's been some massive jumps, fouls so far. What can he do? Fast into the board, good jump. Oh, that's another one. Sailing over that 8-meter mark. He's happy with that. So far, the lead by the American Jared Lawson, 8:37. This could be close or somewhere near it anyway. First round jumps at the moment are really going well for these athletes. Wow, he's just behind the board, 8 centimeters or so, but that's not too bad. Let's just wait and see what the sort of length he's got here. Good shoot, look at this. Perfect technique. Coach just discussing the problem if there is one. 8:25, well, he moves into 2nd place, just behind Lawson. Now we move to one of the very good Chinese, Wang. Sees his best of 8:29. Another one moving fast onto the board. I think that's another good clearance on the board. Let's just see, not as big as some of the jumps he's seen. Yeah, the white flag goes up, but he was having a little bit of problems in qualifying. There's his coach nodding his head. He's happy that it's a good jump in the first round, because these jumps will matter after the first 3 rounds. Well, a long way behind the board, 15 centimeters, but it doesn't matter because he was well over the 8-meter mark. Bronze medalist back in 2015. Well, there it is, 8:14. Well, again, he moves up into that 3rd place.
Malachowski, men's discus throw final, round number 5. In 5th position, the Polish athlete, with that best of 65 meters and 14 in the 2nd round. There have been no movers or shakers in this men's discus final since the 2nd round. Bronze at the moment, 68.03 for Finley. Well, and the defending champion, well, he's not having a happy evening so far. He gives a little shake of his head. He's got to find now nearly 3 meters to get another World Championship medal and defend his title. He's going to have one more throw to do it. That might be a slight improvement on his 2nd round throw. Gutsius, Stahl, Finley, well, 65 meters and 24. He stays in 5th. One more throw for the Polish athlete.
Well, back into round 1, Alexander Menkov, taking part as one of the authorized neutral athletes. Has got the capability of producing a big jump. 8:32, sees his best. That's the clock ticking away, saying how much time he's got left. Here he comes. That's a good jump too, wow. Menkov. White flag goes up. Again, around about the 8:20 maybe. That's going to be another good jump. He's very impassive as he walks back, but much better than his previous jumps in qualifying, where he was all over the place. Just walking back. Good height. Good leg shoot. When you watch from the TV, you can just see the height that they get by judging it by the stands over the far side. Well, that's 8.27. Well, that's moved him ahead, really, of Semi into second place behind Lawson.
Daniel Stahl of Sweden, round number 5, currently in the silver medal position. Well, that's a no-throw. You saw just as we watched the flight of the discus, he fell out the front of the circle. So the world leader, the man that sits in the world top 10 now, with that throw in excess of 71 meters, will have one more throw in this men's discus throw competition to try and upgrade from the silver medal position that is in.
Well, from one swing to the next, Michael Tonius now in the long jump. 4th at the London Games here, when he missed bronze by just 1 centimetre. Oh, looked like his foot may have touched. The white flag goes up. Let's just wait and see about the distance. Not happy, no. Technique not good, but he says he just slipped through, yeah. Let's watch it again. His long strides, comes in, gets the height, but lost it a little bit there. Just 8 centimetres behind that plasticine. It's a big man. Got to be careful though, because the arms sometimes go down just behind where you land, and if it's measured from that, you can lose significantly. Well, 8.18. Good jump from Tonius, keeps him in the mix, moves him up into 4th.
Meanwhile, the laps tick on in this women's 10,000 metres, and it's Sitora Kamidova, who's better known as a marathon runner, 54th in the tough conditions of Rio last year. She leads with Almaz Ayana in second place, but you can tell by the size of the group that it is still pretty comfortable, this pace. Tiranishka Barber's running in around about 8th or 9th place, comfortably towards the front of that group. But there's Almaz Ayana in second place, as De Barber comes shooting past to join her compatriot on her shoulder. But by their standards, this is pretty steady. And clearly Ayana isn't feeling as though she wants to go for a world record, as she did in Rio last year. She's in second.
Robert Harting, he's down in 6th position, his final throw of the men's discus competition. And the red flag is raised. So he walks out the circle, an athlete that's been 3 times the world champion. Well, it's not to be today for the German. He'll finish with his best throw in the first round of 65 meters and 10 centimeters. And it's 6th position for the athletes that has lifted the gold medal here many times before. So 6th place for the German in this final round of this men's discus throw. And entering the circle for his final effort, Wojciech Malachowski of Poland. Enters the circle after his great rival. He has one more throw. He is in 5th position. Bronze currently is Mason Finley of the USA, 68 meters and 3 centimeters. Silver is Stahl, 69 meters and 19. And Lucius from Lithuania leads the way with 69 meters and 21. So Wojciech Malachowski, the defending champion, the 2-time Olympic silver medalist. Well, it flies, but it doesn't fly far enough. And the 34-year-old, well, it just didn't click tonight. He was arriving here in London in wonderful form with that 67-meter and 68 season's best. He's thrown nearly 72 meters as a lifetime best. But the 3 athletes ahead of him, indeed, Discus as well, not made it possible for the Polish athlete to finish on the podium. He finishes in 5th. So Frederick Discus of Jamaica is in 4th place. 65 metres and 83 in the 4th round. He's thrown 68 metres and 88 this year. If he could do that, he'd get himself on the podium. Final attempt then for the Jamaican. Can he elevate himself onto the podium here in London? Well, he gives it everything. But it's gonna land slap bang in the middle of the 65-metre line. World Youth Champion in 2011, the World Junior Champion in 2012. But that bronze medal position of Mason Finley of 68 metres and 3 centimetres is safe. And Discus from Jamaica, 64 metres and 67, finishes in 4th position. So, the final 3 throws in the men's discus competition. Mason Finley of the USA has bronze guaranteed. 68 metres and 3 centimetres, a lifetime best. It's a medal for the USA in the men's discus. Can he improve, though, on the bronze position? Well, you saw the rattle, you saw the flight. It drops well below the 60-metre line. But Mason Finley of the USA, the Olympic finalist last year, 25 stone in weight, an absolute powerhouse, the American, wins a bronze medal for the USA in the men's discus throw. That's a good day at the office. You've increased your lifetime best and you've won a world medal. But now, into the circle. 71 metres and 29. 5th in Beijing 2 years ago. He won the Diamond League event here just a few weeks ago. Daniel Stahl of Sweden. 69 metres and 19. Last attempt. No, he gave it a little bit too much, did the Swedish athlete. It's going to end with a silver medal here in London, which means Andreas Gusias of Lithuania, by 2 centimetres, is the world champion in the men's discus throw. Daniel Stahl is extremely happy. A silver medal at the World Championships, upgrading, as I mentioned, from the 5th place in Beijing. But here's your world champion. What a wonderful feeling for Andreas Gusias of Lithuania. He enters the circle as the new world champion. 69 metres and 21 in the 2nd round. He's fought off all the competition in the world to take gold. Has he got a little bit more left in him? 6th and final round. Oh, well. When the gold's in the bag, it doesn't matter. But there's a few fireworks going off in the stadium as he exits the circle, because he's become the champion, the world champion in the men's discus throw. He awaits his final distance, 67 metres and 89, but look at that, 69 metres and 21, a lifetime best in the 2nd round. He's your world champion.
And here is the answer to the question, what kind of form is the Olympic champion and world record holder in? Almaz Ayana hit the front with 16 laps to go, and we are now very close to the halfway stage, and she has decimated the field in a matter of 5 or 6 laps. Yasmin Khan, the Kenyan who now represents Turkey, is in no man's land in 2nd place. She was the only athlete to go with Ayana early on, but she has now been dropped. Ayana reaches halfway in 15:51, and now with a 2:49 kilometre, that has helped to do the damage, and now it is her against the clock, Steve.
Well, what a performance. This woman has never raced this year. She's come into this championship with not a single statistic against her. But that doesn't mean that she hasn't got the capability and the talent to do just what she's doing now. Getting out there and running the sort of race that destroys the rest of the field. She did it in the Olympics. She's doing exactly the same thing here. Okay, the pace wasn't fast up until this point, but from now on in, all these athletes will suffer as she starts pushing harder and harder.
Big gaps back to the rest. That's Yasmin Khan. Then the three Kenyans are all together. Irene Cheptai, Agnes Tirop. They're being led by Nawawuna, who's the tallest of the three figures. And as we look at Ayana, the only other athlete still in contention is Tirunesh Dibaba at the back of the group of Kenyans.
Okay, let's get back to the action in the long jump men's. First round, disappointing for Mayunga because he did literally sail over that 8-meter mark. What can he do in this second round? Here he comes again. Bang! Oh! Yep, that's a biggie. It really is. White flag this time. Looks down, impassive, but that is a massive jump. The lead at the moment was held by Lawson at 8:37. He's looking, he coming fast. Whoa. That yellow line, I think, is the farthest that anyone's jumped in the competition, Lawson's mark. And I think he was well over that. Very rangy coming into the pit. Well, sand hits the camera. Coach telling him what he should do, but whoa, he doesn't really need to. That's a massive 8:48, and he sails into first place. Now Lawson has to respond. He's seen his lead go. Well, the American now in second place in the second round. Working the crowd as well he should. Fourth Olympics. Shaking those legs. Tension building up. Spring is being coiled. And Yongo just behind, just looking at him, just coming down the road. Here we go. And that's another jump. Wow. What a competition's developing. The white flag goes up again. Is it going to be further than Manyanga's 8:48? It's going to be close. Well, Lawson responds. Wow, not much to spare on the board there. Perfect, in fact. Lawson. Waiting and waiting for confirmation of the distance. Coach. 8:43, a season's best, just behind there, and in second place. Well, that's just the second round so far, but wow, fireworks on the long jump, and this one really is setting things alight on the track.
She certainly is, Steve. I've just gone over the numbers and checked my maths. She ran the first 3K, well, they all did together, in around about 10 minutes, give or take a second. She's just completed the second 3 kilometers in 8:42. She is absolutely flying now. She's left it too late to go for the world record. That's the group of athletes battling for silver and bronze at the moment. All these athletes that Ayana is catching up, she's actually lapping. In that chase group, you have Yasmin Khan of Turkey, as we watch Ayana pour it on down the back straight. Also, all 3 Kenyans are still in that group, and Tirunesh Dibaba, who can't be ruled out. Hernandez steps aside and lets Ayana take the inside line. She's doing exactly what she did last year, Steve. It's not quite as fast, and because she did it in Rio, it's not quite as unexpected, but in a season where she hasn't raced at all internationally, she's taking a world-class field apart.
This is the chase group, and there's some 200 meters now behind Ayana. Look at the style, just watch this. This is perfect distance running. Beautifully smooth. Look at her, she's relaxed, she's looking up at the scoreboard, checking where they are. Well, she probably can't even see them because they're not even in the picture yet. She's lapping runners, world-class runners here with absolute ease. Look at the speed, the differential between her and the rest of the other athletes. That's the speed. Dibaba now starting to realise that maybe if she's going to get a medal, she's going to start having to race these 3 Kenyans.
I think Dibaba can definitely get a medal from that position. Ayana, by the way, is halfway down the back straight. The chase group have just gone round with 8 laps to go. Yasmin Khan looked as though she was struggling with that chase group just for a moment. As we watch Khan going through another great kilometre split there. She had a 2:49, that was a 2:52. And still, we have a chase group of 5, and 5 into 2 doesn't go. Almaz Ayana just pouring on the pace there, going past one of the British athletes. There is that chase group. Yasmin Khan is the Turkish athlete in the white vest. She was struggling off the back of that group, but it's Nawawuna, the biggest of the 3 Kenyans, leading the chasers. But Dababa is still there, but it's a separate race, Steve, metaphorically and literally.
It's a machine, really. This woman really is absolutely perfect at doing what she does. She hasn't had any races, we keep saying it, but imagine that. No preparation whatsoever from a race point of view, coming into a World Championships. In fact, she's had a lot of problems, really, with her federation, stopping her races when she wanted to. But coming back now and taking this world-class field, including Dababa and the 3 Kenyans, Nawawuna, Tirop and Cheptai, apart, really, is a magnificent performance. It can't be underestimated.
She just had to check her stride there, because those 2 athletes, usually you'd expect the back markers to move out into lane 2. Any club athletes will know, if you hear the words track, 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 you get out the way and get out the way quickly. But Ayana had to go wide on the outside on that occasion. She's coming round with 6 laps to go. And Yasmin Khan, I now can confirm, has been dropped by the chase group. So there are now only 4 at the moment in contention for the silver and the bronze medals. It's the 3 Kenyans, and there's Tirunesh Dababa, arguably the greatest 10,000-metre runner in history. Well, she's handed her mantle on to Almaz Ayana, and it's being carried with real quality by the Ethiopian woman, who, as they enter the home straight, has gone past the 1,500-metre start point.
Beautiful, relaxed rhythm. Arm carried slightly high, really, but that's a natural style. We saw her in the Olympics the wonderful way she literally just decimated everybody. They just couldn't go with her. She has that natural ability to set her own pace. She didn't want to wait anymore. It was a slow part of the race, as we said at the beginning, and she doesn't like that. She doesn't really like being in a group. She's a consummate solo runner. And that's hard in a 10,000. It really is hard, because you're lapping time and time again, and you're looking up at the scoreboard, and sometimes the distance doesn't seem to get any less.
Well, while we continue watching the clock for Almaz Ayana, that's the real intrigue and the uncertainty now. It is just a question of how fast for Ayana, assuming she doesn't have any problems and trips. That was the battle for the silver and bronze. 3 Kenyan and 1 Ethiopian in the battle to get on the podium alongside Almaz Ayana. It's just a majestic performance here. A totally different type of race to that which we saw last night in the men's 10,000 metres, with all sorts of cat and mouse going on with Mo Farah, Cheptegei, the Ugandan, Paul Tanui, the Kenyan, and Jeffrey Camworall. They all were toing and froing, and the lead changed hands many times. But look at this from Almaz Ayana. She's overtaking genuinely world-class distance runners, and she's making them look like club athletes, which they're not.
No, they're certainly not. But that's the differential, really, in the true talent that we're seeing here displayed tonight. And as she keeps lapping, she's going further and further away from that chase group of 4. So they're not really making any dent in her advantage. In fact, she's actually pulling further and further away.
Just to give you a marker, Nawawuna is the tallest of the 3 Kenyans. You've then got Tirop in 2nd place in that group. Irene Cheptai is the Kenyan athlete with the stripe of tape down her leg, and then you've got Tirunesh Dababa off the back. That's 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, because the leader, well, there's no doubt who that is. It's Almaz Ayana, who is storming down the back straight and closing in on an absolutely incredible performance. And how nice, Steve, I was there, I had the privilege of commentating on Ayana's world record over the 10,000 in Rio last year. She was the first athlete to win a gold on the track. She did so in the morning, and there were only about 10 or 12,000 athletes in the stadium. This time, her great talents have got the crowd and the setting that they deserve. The Olympic Stadium absolutely packed to the rafters, and they will give her a heroine's reception when she eventually gets to the finish line.
It's been a hard race, hasn't it? Any race that you lead in the 10,000 from the distance that she took it up and tore it on, you're working hard. You're not taking it easy. You're not like, well, I'll say Mo Farah didn't take it easy, but he actually had all the others to try and take the sting out of him by leading him through. This woman has decided that she doesn't want any of that. She just wants to get out, run her own race, and really, it's a war of attrition behind, because I think maybe if the Barber could just hold herself together. She's running these marathons, she's got all the distance in her legs, but she is incredibly fast over the last 400 metres. She might maybe just sneak the silver medal as well for Ethiopia.
Well, Irene Cheptai, the reigning world cross-country champion, is just on the left of picture there, and she has been dropped by what was the quartet of chasers, who now become three. Agnes Tirop with Nawawuna. Tirop was the world cross-country champion 2 years ago. She heads the chasers with Nawawuna, and Tirunesh Dibaba in fourth. I agree with you, Steve. I think from this position, Tirunesh Dibaba will fancy she can get yet another global medal over 10,000 metres. It won't be the gold, but she'll want to make it an Ethiopian 1-2. Two laps to go in the final of the women's 10,000 metres. Almaz Ayana, the world record holder, the Olympic champion, hit the front with 16 to go, and her injection of pace has absolutely decimated this field. It has been a fabulous performance of front running, and now, Steve Ovett, it is simply a question of how fast and by how far will she win this gold medal. Beautiful demonstration of distance running, Ayana. She's actually lucky in a sense, because she's lapping athletes all the time. There's a target in front of her all the time. But the way that she goes past them is an indication, as we said before, of how well this woman is running. These are world-class 10,000 metre runners, and they expect, I suppose, not to be lapped as quickly and as fast as this woman is doing it at the moment. Ayana coming into the home straight here. It's an absolutely staggering performance. The announcers on the PA system are helping to reinforce just what a great run this is from the Ethiopian Olympic champion. Almaz Ayana takes the bell in the final of the women's 10,000 metres. It is going to be an absolutely sensational win. That's the battle for silver and bronze. It's Agnes Tirop, Alice Nawawuna and Tirunesh Dibaba battling for silver and bronze, but they are a country mile away from Almaz Ayana. Going down the back straight, the Olympic champion on her way to becoming the world champion, and in so doing, she is going to add her name to a rich list of female greats. Even after that really slow start, we're going to see the fastest time in the world this year. Almaz Ayana in a class of her own, and she is being greeted with an incredible reception here in the Olympic Stadium. The crowd are on their feet. They're responding to the world-class performance they're seeing. She was Olympic champion in Rio, and now she will always be able to say she was world champion in London. What a performance. We may not see a victory of such dominance ever again in this 10,000 metre context. And look at Dibaba now. She's streaking home. She's got Agnes Tirop for company, the world cross-country champion from 2 years ago. It's a great run from Dibaba. She's now a marathon specialist, but she's showing here she still has what it takes to get on the podium on a global race of huge importance over 10,000 metres. Dibaba, the double Olympic champion, the triple world champion, the fourth fastest woman in history, once again showing her class over 10,000 metres. She takes the silver. It's gold and silver, the 1-2 for Ethiopia, and Agnes Tirop coming home for the bronze. What an extraordinary race. Great credit to Dibaba and Tirop for turning that on the final lap. But that race, the applause And the standing ovation of over 50,000 people in the crowd belonged to Almaz Ayana.
Well, we just saw the world's best time this year by 25 seconds. And that was after that very, very pedestrian first part of the race. So if she'd have gone all the way, God knows what she would have done. Absolutely beautiful. 1 and 2 for Ethiopia. Well, we had a great 10,000 metres yesterday and a sprint finish really from Mo. But this, as an individual performance, I think in a 10,000 metres is, in a way, perhaps a little bit better, because this woman took this race by the scruff of the neck, and it's so hard to run as far as she did on your own in a 10K.
Just fantastic there from Almaz Ayana. She joins the likes of Ingrid Christensen, who was the inaugural 10,000 metre world champion in 1987, Liz McColgan, Fernando Ribeiro of Portugal, Dorata Tulu in Edmonton in 2001. Tiranys de Barber's 3 titles. Well, she's added yet another global medal. This time it's silver, and I think she can take great delight in following home her younger compatriot, to whom she has passed the mantle of the greatest 10,000 metre runner in the world at the moment. Just amazing.
Our celebrations in the Ethiopian camp. I think de Barber did all she could there, really. She let Ayana go because I think she knew she wasn't in the same sort of class, and she just clung on then to the 3 of the Kenyans. Tirop charging hard at the end, but to de Barber, that speed that she still got in the legs, even though running marathons, gave her the silver medal in the end.
A nice moment for the Ethiopians, their first medals of the 2017 London World Championships. Gold and silver. Agnes Tirop, by the way, securing that bronze with a lifetime best. At times, Steve, they were so far behind Ayana, it was hard to keep track of where the leader and the group of chasers were on the track, because the whole 400-metre circuit was littered with athletes who'd been lapped.
Yeah, it was a great performance, it really was. I mean, Ayana, looking at Ayana, you get the feeling that she could, this could be the woman that could really set the world marathon record if she really wanted to, because she's got that beautiful style, very, very thin, very light, very compact, and she loves solo running. Perfect.
Well, she was just mercurial there, storming home, leaving everybody trailing in her wake. And how nice that the crowd responded with a standing ovation. It was a perfect way to salute a brave, brilliant piece of front running.
There you see it. So relaxed. That's the hard 10,000. I just said 25 seconds faster than any woman has run this year. She didn't have any competitions coming into the World Championships. No competitions at all. That's the talent of this woman.
Well, as the sun sets on Saturday night, there is more drama to come in the stadium.
Well, here we go. Masso of Cuba. Second round, 8:11. This young Cuban, oh, and that looks a bit better than his 8:11. The white flag goes up. So third round now, all these distances are going to be significant for these jumpers. .8:11 so far in that second round, and no jump in the first. Just 18 years of age. Former world and junior champion. In fact, he's still going to be a junior at the end of this year. Oh, 8:22, so he's in 6th place. That's a good performance, moving himself up the leaderboard there.
So confirmation of that good men's discus throw final. Gold to Lithuania. Andreas Gusias, a personal best of 69 meters and 21. Daniel Stahl, the world leader on this occasion from Sweden, picked up a silver medal. And Mason Finley from the USA, a personal best of 68.03 for bronze. Well, many people had this man down as a potential gold medal winner. Not many, to be fair, because the form of Daniel Stahl of Sweden all season's been superb, but this guy was consistent over 68 meters, and when it mattered, pulled a 69 meter and 21 personal best out the bag. Great to see all three medalists delighted with what they've achieved here in London, doing a lap of honour of the London Stadium. A good competition. 3 more medals handed out here in London.
Well, I don't think the big guys were going as fast as Ayana there, were they, around the track? But nevertheless, excited just the same. Meanwhile, back in the long jump, Yanin Wang coming into his third round. Oh, well, it's peppering the 8 meter mark. The white flag goes up. We've had some big jumps so far. Just to recap, that second round jump of Manyonga, 8.48, still leads. Just behind him, Lawson's 8.43. And in third place, Menkov's jump of 8.27. So competition is still there for everybody, really. There's still a possibility. Manyonga, obviously, with that big jump, 8.48, hard to beat, but never underestimate any of these jumpers at the moment. Well, not as good as his second round, 7.95 for Wang. Demar Forbes now on the runway. Only got 7.91 to his credit in the second round, leaving him in 12th place. So he's got to produce a good jump here. Jamaicans giving him as much encouragement as they can from the stands. Oh, well, I don't think that's going to do much, really. The 4 times Jamaican champion might have to settle for a jump which is very close to his previous before. Disappointing, isn't it, in the long jump? You know you can do better, and you just don't produce it on the day.
Well, he's gone 8.29 on his lifetime best this year, Steve, which at the moment in this competition would be good enough to have him on in a podium position just ahead of Menkov on 8.27, but he hasn't been able to do it exactly when he needs it.
No, look at that. I didn't think it was as good as his second round. 7.85. This is the man that is in third position at the moment. Alexander Menkov, that 8.27 in the first round, when all those big jumps were going around and fouling. This man produced that 8.27. Oh, no, he's not happy with the start there. There's the clock, 34 seconds to go. He's got to get back quick. Authorised neutral athlete. Initialised as ANA. Sometimes it comes up as a national record when they do something. It's not a national record as such, it's just a performance that they've achieved in these championships. And Menkov running out of time a little bit. 7 seconds, he's got to start going. Here he goes. Third place at the moment with that jump, as I said, 8.27. No, I don't think that's going to put the red flag goes up anyway, so he's still in third place.
Crowd are really enjoying that competition down the back straight, Steve. Absolutely packed, as it is everywhere around this incredible arena, and they're giving those guys huge support. It's got the makings of a great second half of this competition, and you get the feeling there's a monstrous jump in Manyonga still to come out.
Well, it's really turned up a notch, hasn't it, as Steve mentioned before, in terms of the qualifying being a bit of a damp squib. This final is absolutely bubbling along nicely. It really is. And you look at the history books, and the Americans have won this title many times before, of course. Jarin Lawson in a good position. But Manyonga for South Africa, well, you have to go back to, I think one medal's been won, and that was by Mokoena many years ago in this event. So they're on the verge of something potentially special.
Well, the Swede now, Mikael Tornius, could produce a jump which gets him into the medal positions. Oh, that's a massive jump for him. That's good. But a no, oh, the flag goes up again. Well, you've got to go for it. You really have in the World Championship final. You really got to push all the possibilities, and maybe sometimes you just push it just a little bit too much. Let's just see if we can see as he comes in. Oh, wow. 0.7 of a centimetre. And that was a big, big jump. It really was. And he's in 7th place at the moment. Wow. That 8:18 in 7th place. Wow. That was a major disappointment. Well, from Uruguay, Emilio Lassa. Only, I suppose, with that 8:06, not really up to the other standards that are being set around him. Even if he jumps his season's best at 8:19, it might not keep him in this competition for much longer. Oh, that's a good jump, though. That's around about his best for the season. The white flag goes up. Well, 8:06 his best so far. This is a good jump from this man. As we've said, the quality, standard anyway, of this long jump final has gone way past expectations from those qualifying rounds. Saving the best for last, definitely. Malassa, just looking. Oh, 8:11. Well, just a slight improvement, but in 9th, unfortunately. So he's clapping to the crowd and saying thank you. Remember, it's just the first 6 that go through to the next. Sorry, the first 8 it is, sorry, that goes through to the next 3 jumps.
You just got a glimpse of Manyonga there, looking very, very relaxed, Steve.
Yeah.
But he's not over the line yet, is he?
Well, the last of the long jumpers in this 3rd round. Yuhai Shi of China. Oh, that's a good jump. We'll wait and see. But a red flag yet again. Wow. You've got to try it. His coach is pleased with his performance. But he won't be going any further now in the long jump competition. Wow, again, look at that. Marginal, but unfortunately that's all you need.
So 11 hours after they entered the arena for the first event of the day, here's the summary of the women's heptathlon with just the 200 meters to come. Nafi Tiam leading at 3:087 from Carolyn Schaefer 3:015, and then Rodriguez a clear 3rd. As we look down the competitors, there's some disappointments there, like Johnson Thompson. Brookstool started very well. The Americans not performing up to par, as we trace down this big field of 30 competitors who will be running very shortly in 4 separate races in the final event of this day 1 of the competition, and that'll be the 200 meters. Competitors seeded as they usually are, so we've got the athletes who on paper are slowest in this very first race. Barman of India, Jivotsky Farkas of Hungary, Damon Rowe of USA, Krisan of Hungary, Karesma of Portugal, Shuk of Ukraine, Breusen of Netherlands. So let's go through them from the outside in, and this is Nadine Breusen, the Dutch athlete who's having a pretty useful day. Just a little below par in the high jump, which is her best event though. And then the youngest competitor in this lineup, Elena Shuk, Well, at 25.97, she's got quite a long way to improve before she really gets into top senior class, or the European Junior Champion. Then we have Quaresma of Portugal, well, her best 24.98. Then Krisan, the Hungarian, who's a strong competitor, but this one of her weaker events with a best of 24.72. Beside her, Damon Rowe, who had a very disappointing high jump competition, usually her forte, only jumping 174 there, but she came good in the shot, and she's got a best of 24.02, but that was a year or two back. And then we've got Javoski Farkas. Well, she's a little bit down again on expectations so far, 25.21 her best. And then the Indian competitor, youngster, 20 years of age, Swapna Barman, the best of 25.59. As I said, this is the slowest group of the heptathletes, and it'll gradually build in intensity till we get some very speedy ladies indeed who will go in the fourth and final race of this competition. Tomorrow, of course, they'll come back for the final three events, the long jump, javelin and 800 meters. And at the moment, Nafi Tiam, who we'll see later, is the clear leader. So, first race, Barman, Javoski Farkas, Damon Rowe, Krisan, Quaresma, Shuk, Brøsen. So away they go. Good start by Javoski Farkas, the Hungarian, second from the inside, and right on the outside, Nadine Brøsen, the Dutch athlete, I think is going to come into the straight here in the lead. Yes, indeed it is. But a strong run also by the American Damon Rowe, now powering ahead of this field. Sharon Damon Rowe is going to win this. Brøsen holding on for second place, and Krisan, the Hungarian, in third, 24.98. So as per expectations, I dare say, Damon Rowe's run quicker, but that's very close to her season's best, and she'll be happy to have completed, as I said, just over 11 hours. They've been in action today in the four events, and confirmed in fact at 24.97 on the photo finish, as opposed to the initial time, which is a photo cell single beam across the track. 3 races to come in this 200 meters. Krisan of Hungary, pretty useful run by her as we just recap this race. Javoski Farkas was off well but faded a little bit. And look in the center lane now, the powerful figure of the American Damon Rowe coming through. Brøsen had got a lead, but now he's going to have to settle for second place. And just confirmation there that Damon Rowe wins it from Brøsen and Krisan. Three races to go then in the 200 meters, and we can just check on the times in this particular race. Damon Rowe winning in 24.97, that's worth 890 points, one ahead of Brøsen, then Krisan, and the rest following.
So the bottom left of your screen is the warm-up track. It's so close to the main stadium, which really does help the athletes. It's a short walk across. Well, on the left, Usain Bolt. On the right, Johan Blake. The men's 100-meter final, the last preparations are being made. 2 Jamaicans, 2 Americans, an athlete from China, Great Britain, South Africa and France will battle it out. And Usain Bolt will battle it out one last time in an individual world final.
Oh, just looking at them, the beanies are on and the tracksuits are on and the helmets are on and the hats are on. It's cold over there at the warm-up track, and I think that's going to be maybe a little bit of a factor coming into this final.
Well, and under all that layers, as you mentioned, Steve, is Christian Coleman potentially the biggest threat to Usain Bolt. And then another beanie hat wearer, Justin Gatlin from the USA, a former world champion. He'll start in lane number 8 in the final, but it'll be Bolt and Coleman in lanes 4 and 5. We're expecting the biggest challenge and the fastest legs to come from.
Yes, Simbini. Well, he looked pretty good in the semi-finals, despite the fact that he was less than impressive in the heats. He's been performing at a very consistent level this year, but because of the South African seasons, his best times have come back in March and April. He's in lane 6. And what a great last 20 metres from Reece Prescott towards the end of that heat, of that semi-final. He was absolutely flying as he came towards the line. He'll view this as a massive opportunity. And what about Jimmy Vico? 9.86, joint European record holder. He's gone 9.97 this year. We haven't spoken much about the Frenchman, but he's had a good season. But they will all, you suspect, be playing second fiddle to Usain Bolt. Bingqiang Zhu, he came through as a fastest loser. He'll start in lane 2. Part of a very useful Chinese 4x1 quartet who got a medal on home soil back in 2015. That's the view across East London. The stadium looking as magnificent as it did 5 years ago, playing host to the Olympic Games, and it will be a very special climax to the evening. Almaz Ayana adding World Championship gold to her Olympic gold, the fastest time in the world this year by miles, an enormous winning margin. Tirunesh Barber, 3 times a world champion, this time the silver, and Agnes Tirop with a lifetime best coming home with the bronze. I doubt we'll see a more emphatic victory of margin in any event still to come in this World Championship.
And just to recap as well, 14.24 for the second 5,000 metres in that race, and very few athletes have ever run quicker than that. 14.24 after a slow 15.57 opener.
Well, she come back with a negative split in the Olympics as well. She's capable of doing that. The toughest way to run any race, really.
And it was so good to see the crowd responding with a standing ovation. Carmen Martinez, who came last, with a national record. Meanwhile, we still have 3 more heats to come in the women's heptathlon before the men's 100-metre final.
Yes, thank you, Rob. So there they are, lining up for their final race of the day. This is the second group that we've seen, gradually getting quicker. And of course it includes the leader, Nafi Thiam, who will go in lane 8. Comparatively weak event for her, 24.4, so it'll be good to see that she can get close to that perhaps in these cold conditions, not conducive to really fast times for sprinting. All the athletes here have bests in the mostly low-ish 24-second range. So from the outside here we have the double South American champion Tamara de Souza from Brazil, won that South American title this year. Then we've got the tall figure of Nafi Thiam, the Olympic champion, well clear in the heptathlon. Might just lose a little bit of ground to her chasers in this event, we shall see. Some of them have rather quicker times than Thiam on previous personal bests. Katerina Kachova, well, she's the world youth champion 10 years ago, but she's gradually improving steadily, the Czech Republic athlete. Grit Sadeko is the Estonian record holder and the European under-23 champion back in 2011. Elsbeth Felix, the top athlete from Puerto Rico, who was the Ibero-American champion last year. So most of these athletes have titles to their credit. Eliska Klusinova, well, she's been giving a strong performance here. The Czech got a personal best in the heptathlon of 6.460 points. Ruksdal, impressed by her with a personal best in the hurdles to start the day, and she's the European junior champion this year. And then the very experienced Antoinette Nana Djimoudia, the French athlete who's twice been European champion outdoors, and twice indoors at the pentathlon. Fastest in the field, a personal best of 24.10, Sadeko and Kacheva, who go in lane 7. But not much to choose on form between this whole field. Nana Djimoudia, Ruksdal, Kluchinova, Felix, Sadeko, Kacheva, Thiam and de Souza. There's Kluchinova. Well, the big interest obviously here in Thiam in lane 8, see how she goes. She seems to have made up a little ground on de Souza. 2 lanes inside her though. Sadeko is going well, the Estonian, and Thiam is losing a little bit of ground. There isn't indeed much to choose between these athletes. Sadeko being challenged now by Kacheva of the Czech Republic. Tiam finishing a bit faster now and will get up. Oh, she might even have snatched that from Kacheva. It was pretty close on the line. The winning time 24:57. Kuchinova there, we're looking at the clock. Well, I don't think there was much to choose between them. I'm going to wait for the photo finish to determine exactly what that result was. But the main point is, of course, not who won, but what your times you get, and there wasn't much to choose between them. And Tiam, well, personal best of 24:40, and she wasn't too far away. Kacheva did indeed get the verdict at 24:56 on the photo finish clock. And that's an exhausting whole day of action. A little gap in the middle, of course, for a bit of lunch. That's showing the agony of the 4 events of day 1. Let's have a look again. Tiam, as I said, got off pretty slowly in lane 8, but finished well. Sadeko was in lane 6 and Kacheva in lane 7. And I think Sadeko may have had the nod there, but the red-vested Czech, the black shorts, coming through very nicely. And Tiam passing D'Souza with a very strong late burst. And this is an impressive run, really, I think, by the Belgian, showing her strength in an event which is not one of her best.
Yeah, she's only lost out there by 100th of a second. She just seems such a good competitor, Peter, in terms of always managing to respond with something exactly when it's needed, and that surely in an event like this is what marks the champions out from the silver and bronze medalists and the 4th placers.
Surely does, and no mistakes, and you can't afford a mistake in a multi-event, and she hasn't done. Whether this will be enough to retain her lead, I think it probably will be, depending on what times we see in the next races. But whatever, she's had an excellent first day, and of course she's got a terrific second day to come. Good long jump, brilliant javelin. Although the 800 isn't special, she showed when she won the Olympic title, and she smashed her personal best in that event, that she can again rise to the occasion when it matters. Kacheva 24:56. Tiam adds 927 points to her total, 100th of a second behind in second place. Sadeko, D'Souza, Kuchinova, Rukstal, not much to choose between, but Nanojimo Idu losing a bit more ground.
Well, we go back now to the men's long jump. It's starting to heat up. This is the 5th round. Mikko Tornius, who's had 3 failures in 2nd, 3rd and 4th rounds. At 8:18 is still his best jump. But he's going to improve. He's going to jump around about 8:22 or better, because Masso is in front with that sort of lead. No. I don't think going to be an improvement. The white flag goes up. So far in the 3rd rounds, there wasn't any improvement really on the lead. We've reversed the order. So 8 goes first, and then we finish off with Manyongo. That looks around about the 8-meter mark, maybe a little bit more. He's explaining maybe that he's not getting the sort of speed he needs, and then the leg shoot. It's rehearsal of the mind as well as the body, really. Tornius. No, that's not as good as I say. His first round 7.92. He stays in 7th place. Well, on the runway, this young Cuban, Mika Masso, who's jumped 8.22 in the 3rd round. Got to jump 8.23, just 1 centimetre, catch Wang just in front of him. Oh, that's a big jump. I think he knows it. The white flag goes up. The Cubans there, right at the 4. Look, they're saying, yep, that's a big one. Small, but he's so fast. And look at the height. Those white lines there, I think the yellow and the white are the first 2 placings, I think, in the long jump. But he's close to those. He's got to beat 8.23 to go ahead of Wang, and then 8.25 to go ahead of Semi. And he's done it. 8.26, he moves up into fourth.
The third of the 4 races of the heptathlon 200 meters. This is the lineup. So this doesn't include most of the major contenders, although Vetter certainly has been going well, so look out for her in lane 4. Got Moudens, Agnew, Vetter. Oh, Rodriguez, of course, I was missing her, and she's had a splendid day in second place. Aguila, Ahuwanu, Benin, Trainer, and Chepa Spinola. There's Chepa Spinola, twice the South American champion, representing Brazil, obviously with great pride. Then Verena Freiner, one of 2 European under-23 medalists who have come out here. She was the silver medalist on that occasion when they were held about 3 weeks ago. In lane 7, this is Odile Ahuwanu, the Benin athlete, national record holder, who's based in France, came first in the French Championship. Evili Aguila, another record holder, the South American record holder in this case for the Colombian, whose personal best at 23.62 marks her out as the fastest in this field. Now Jorgelis Rodriguez, terrific talent, 7th in the Olympics, getting better all the time. Wonderful high jump competition earlier today. Then Anouk Vetter, the European champion from last year, and at 23.70, one of the women who broke at 24 seconds in this race. 6.626, the Dutch record she has for the Brent. Caroline Agnew, very promising, European junior champion 2 years ago, European under-23 champion this year. And Hannah Moudens, another youngster who was 3rd in the World Juniors last year. So that's the lineup, but just the very fastest contenders in the 200 to come in the final race. They take to their marks then. Moudens of Belgium, Agnew of Switzerland, Vetter, the Netherlands, Rodriguez of Cuba, Aguila, Colombia, Ahuwanu of Benin, Trainer of Austria, and Chepa Spinola of Brazil. This is Vetter, European champion. Well, Vetter certainly very quickly into her running and trying to run down Rodriguez outside her, but the Cuban is talented and is holding her off surely, but not much to choose again between them. The Benin athlete also running very prominently indeed, Ahuwanu, and I think she's just got the lead a little bit, but Vetter finishing strongly, these two, and Aguila coming up ahead of Rodriguez, but it's the Benin athlete, Ahuwanu. Looks a bit ragged at the end, but she held on to win. 24.11 shown as the time on the clock, and she can celebrate. Well, her personal best was 24.24 coming into this race. She's just smashed it, and that's a terrific thing to do for an unexperienced athlete in a World Championships competition for the first time. In fact, even quicker on the photo finish, 24.09 for the youngster from Benin. Now, the one I'm looking out for mostly to see is what the points are, of course, for Rodriguez. She ran pretty well, as indeed did Vetter. There's Rodriguez. There's fantastic high jumping competitions with 3 personal best, 189, 192, 195 earlier in the day. And Rodriguez was running in lane 5 here with Vetter in the inside lane, 3rd from the inside. But all the way through, I think it was really Ahuwanu who had the advantage, and she was strong enough to hold on, and it really took strength, because she finished looking pretty ragged, but enough to take the victory and to take it's a fairly substantial margin off her personal best. So there we go, 24.09, the confirmed winning time. Then Aguila, then Vetter, who gets 9.46 points. Rodriguez, who gets 9.41. So narrowing the gap on Tiam just a little. Not enough to take the lead, though. And then Prena, Agnew, Chepa and Moudens.
Back in the long jump, Razwa Samai, who's in 5th place at the moment with that jump of 8.25. Oh, another big jump. About the same as before. The white flag goes up. Wow. 8.25, he's 2 centimetres behind Menkov. Is this an improvement? 8.27 Menkov's distance. It's going to be close to what it was before, some way back behind the board. Samai, as I said, in 5th place at the moment, out of the medals. South Africa would love to have 1 and 2 in this event. Just looking at the scoreboard. Wow, 8.27, he's the same distance as Menkov, but he's got a better jump. Menkov hasn't got any other jumps, he's fouled and everything else, so he moves now into 3rd. What can Menkov, having seen that, what can he now do? He's seen that medal slip away, he's in 4th place. Oh, I don't think it's going to be good enough. The red flag goes up anyway. So, disappointment. Menkov moves into 4th. Lawson, round 5. 2nd place with that 2nd round, 8.43. It's getting preciously close amongst these jumpers. Centimetres separating everybody. He's 5 centimetres back from Manyonga. Shaking leg, he does this every time, leans back, there he goes, here he comes, the American champion. Fast into the board, oh, it's a big jump, but I don't think it's going to threaten Manyonga. We'll have to wait and see. The white flag goes up. Coach is looking anxious. See those marks in the sand. You can't really be 100% that they're accurate. But that's a long way back from the board. That could be precious distance that he's lost, really. There he comes up, 8.31. No, he stays in 2nd position, just behind Manyonga. The big man. Can he produce a massive jump? He's been looking so good. He comes in, he charges. Oh no, not as good as he thought he was going to do. White flag, but it won't improve on his 8.48 in the 2nd round. Doesn't matter, still there in 1st place at the moment. And if he wins, he'll be the, well, the first South African champion in this event for Africa. Ooh, again, bit back from that plasticine. Ooh, there's his coach. Well, I think he knows there's a big jump there somewhere, but it's still not as the moment being pulled out.
He's closing in on the world title, and what a story it would be. His life has taken him down some colourful, difficult routes, and he's bouncing back. And look at the big man. Please don't go out. Wherever you're watching this in the world, don't miss the last individual race in Usain Bolt's career. It is coming up very, very soon.
Just one race before then. That's this final race of the heptathlon. Dadic, Williams, Schaefer, Bugard, Johnson-Thompson, Visser, and Salman Routh. Katrina Johnson-Thompson, the one who's run under 23 seconds. This is Nadina Visser, who started the day with the best time in the 100-meter hurdles. Then we have Katrina Johnson-Thompson. Well, disaster in the high jump, only 180, but she could win this, and 22.79, and make her way up a little bit in the standings. Erika Bugard, another who disappointed in the high jump, but she's a good runner at this event, 23.28, 2nd in the American Championships at Heptathlon this year. The consistent Caroline Schaefer, certainly well in contention for a medal. Another good event for her, former World Junior Champion, 5th in the Olympics. She's run 23.27. Then Kendall Williams, former World Junior Champion at the hurdles. She's won no less than 6 American collegiate titles. And finally, Ivana Dadic, the European bronze medalist from last year, the Austrian, who improved her personal best by an enormous margin when she excelled with that European bronze. So it's Dadic of Austria, Williams of USA, Schäfer, Germany, Bugard, USA, Johnson-Thompson, Great Britain, Wiese of the Netherlands, and Salmonrath of Germany to complete the action of day one of the women's heptathlon, day two of the IAF World Championships. They go. A good start by Kendall Williams, the American, second from the inside. Johnson-Thompson now getting into a running and is going to head the field as they come into the home straight, and the crowd roar as they appreciate that. And one of their favourites, Johnson-Thompson, is coming through to win this by a big margin. No question about that. She's showing what she can do. Schäfer doing very well to get second place. Bugard is third, and a splendid time by Johnson-Thompson. Well, it hasn't all gone right for her today, but it's ended in style. She's broken 23 seconds in these cold conditions here. The clock showing 22:88, and this just shows what this young lady can do. Even quicker, 22:86. A fine ending. Let's just hope she can start tomorrow with a cracking long jump, because she is one of the top international class long jumpers, and Schäfer continuing to head for a medal. So Bugard there, the American, and well, it's going to be a wonderful second day, I'm quite sure. Thiam remains the favourite, but these women running much quicker than Thiam did, and Johnson-Thompson third from the left here, powering her way to a splendid victory. She's got a lead of some 2 or 3 meters here, and just watch how she goes away from the field, just showing what a superlative sprinter she is, because certainly a time that she did would qualify her with ease to run in the 200 meters if she were to do that event. And look, she's winning by 8 meters or so, well ahead of Schäfer, and Bugard just inside her. Splendid piece of running.
We turn our attention now to the young athlete, 25 years old.
It was very impressive. We know at her best she runs under 23 seconds.
Of South Africa.
It was done with drive and desire, wasn't it, Peter? The frustration of the disappointment of the high jump earlier, every single ounce was put into that event here, the final event of day one. A little smile at the end as well. She knows it's been a tough day for her, and as you mentioned, hopefully can come back tomorrow in one of her more favoured events. But it is world-class running, and a nice smile at the end as well.
Johnson-Thompson winning in 22.86 for 1,093 points. Schäfer taking second in 23.58. Then Bugard, Wiese, Salmonrath, Dadic and Kendall Williams. Our final event of the heptathlon. We'll give you the final standings shortly.
Back to the final four in the long jump, the last round. This man now in bronze medal position after his fifth round jump of 8:27. He's capable of going much further. He really is. This is his last attempt now for Rachel Shamai. Oh, it's a good jump. It really is. The white flag goes up. He's thanking the crowd. It's a great competition. Looking at his jump, 8:27 he's got at the moment. He's got to get close to 8:43. I'm not sure whether that's going to be anywhere near that. We have to wait and see. It's a good jump though on the last attempt. 3 centimeters behind the board. Well into the air. Good leg shoot. 8:32. Wow, marvellous. That's his best performance so far, best jump so far, but he's still in third place, and that's the bronze medal at the moment.
Well, this is the only man who can deny him a place on the podium, Steve, but what an inconsistent card he's produced.
8:27 in his first round, and then 4 no jumps And those 4 no jumps have cost him dearly, really, up until now, or up until that last jump, really, of Sami, because up until then, if he'd have had a decent jump, he would have still been in bronze medal position. So now, he's got to jump better than 8.32 to unsettle Sami in that 3rd place at the moment. Menkov, this would be a season's best if he does it. Oh, it's a good jump, but I don't think it's going to... Oh, the red flag goes up. So, 4th place for Menkov. The worst position, I think, sometimes in a competition, because you're so close to that podium. And he was almost there, really, until the last couple of rounds. So we are now down to the decision between gold and silver in the men's long jump. There it is, 4th place for Alexander Menkov. Having to now watch Jarian Lawson of the United States. 8.43 in the 2nd round. He's 5 centimetres adrift of Manyonga. But then Manyonga could produce an even bigger jump if he has to. Lawson's got it all before him here for the gold. Shaking legs as he always does. The head goes back, gets the crowd going. They've had a wonderful competition over there in the long jump. Seen some great performances. Manyonga helping him out. Well, that's true sportsmanship, really. Jared Lawson, last attempt in the men's long jump. He's in silver medal position at the moment. Fast down the runway. It's a board and it's a big jump, but whoa, this is going to be, the white flag goes up. This is going to be preciously close. What a great last jump. He's just looking, he's got to get 8.48. And they're looking. 8.44, wow, a big jump, but 4 centimetres short. Wow, Manyonga wasn't even looking at that. Sami has got the bronze. Manyonga couldn't bear to look. It was so close.
He's crying, Steve. Lawson can be rightly proud of his performance with the silver medal, and the pyrotechnics are going off in the stadium. A fine effort from Lawson. But Luvo Manyonga has turned his life around with athletics. He shone as a junior, winning the World Junior title back in 2010. Then came the silver medal in the Olympics last year. But can he finish with a bang?
Oh, it's always awkward, isn't it, if you've won the competition to produce a good jump. But this man possibly could. Let's wait and see. Oh, it is! It's massive! Oh, no! Whoa! He really nearly did finish with a bang. Oh, wow, wonderful competition, and a great gold medal for South Africa here. Manyonga came in as the favourite, and he really did produce the goods. One has to wonder what that jump would have been. They're not even showing, maybe, or are they, what the distance over the plasticine was. But it doesn't matter. You come here to win the competition, and he's done just that. Wow, gold and bronze for South Africa. What a wonderful championship in the long jump.
Their first 2 medals, and what a moment between the 2 teammates and the 2 good friends. And Manyonga's story shows you are never too late to turn your life around. He made some bad decisions. He spent some time in jail after looking as though he was going to emerge on the global stage after finishing 5th in Daegu. He went back to the drawing board. He went back to athletics, what he loved, what drove him. And there he is, raising the flag for the Rainbow Nation. The Olympic silver medalist is the world champion, and what a story of redemption.
Well, what a way to end the field events here in the Olympic Stadium, with just one more event to come. And what do you think that is? Well, there you are. If you can't see and recognise that face, you haven't been involved in sport in the last 10 years.
The athletes are prowling. This is the time in the call room when you're waiting to come into the stadium that you don't look at anybody. You're concentrating. You don't look in anybody's eyes because the moment has arrived for you to come and deliver.
Well, just before then, we can catch up with what else has happened. And in fact, Schaefer has taken the lead from Tiam in the heptathlon by just 22 points, both over 4,000. Rodriguez is in third. Johnson Thompson moves all the way back up into the top 10 in fourth place. Then Vetter and Visa, the Dutch athletes, Lucinova, Dadic, as we run through the whole perspective. Quite a lot of changes with the results that came through from the 200 meters. And quite a gap obviously between the top competitors, over 4,000, and the others just over 3,000 there. Those are the 30 women who we'll see again tomorrow.
Well, there's confirmation of that wonderful long jump. Luvo Manyonga with the gold medal, 8:48. Jared Lawson tried as best as he could with the season's best, 8:44 in silver medal. And Rashwal Samai getting that all-important bronze medal for South Africa yet again. Wow, great performance in the long jump for South Africa. Just one more event to come on the track. The big man congratulating everybody one by one there in the warm-up call-up area.
We should say, shouldn't we, before we get into this race, wherever you are, take the next 15 minutes to enjoy every second of what's about to unfold, because we will never see an athlete with the charisma and the talent combined that Usain Bolt has brought to the global stage for the last 10 years. Who would have thought a decade ago, as he has a chat with Akani Simbine, who's racing against him, they're good friends, who would have thought when he took the silver in Osaka and broke Don Quarry's 200-metre national record 10 years ago, that a decade on, he would quite simply be regarded as the greatest. He is. There is one last individual race. There is one last medal to come. Surely it deserves to be, it has to be gold.
Well, he's potentially, or hoping to anchor Jamaica to the 4x1 relay, but you're right, Rob, individually, it's the last chance for Usain Bolt to shine. The crowd waits for the greatest of all time to enter the stadium. A huge contingent of Jamaican fans. There always is, every time he's competed in London. The Jamaican fans have turned out to support their man. And very shortly, they're going to watch him line up for the final time over a 100-metre race.
Well, I don't think there's a seat really in this massive stadium that hasn't been bought because they wanted to see Usain Bolt.
They're already standing, Steve. It's already a standing ovation all round the stadium.
The final walk for these 8 athletes who will line up in this men's 100-metre final. There's Jimmy Vico of France leading the way. He'll line up in lane number 3. Mascot hero doing a headstand. Causing some amusement for the men's 100-metre finalists. The crowd have already started. Usain Bolt is already beginning to be chanted around the London Stadium. Many of this crowd may have witnessed his gold medal winning performances in London 2012. Many wouldn't, but as Steve said, millions around the world are tuning in to watch the final individual race of the fastest man of all time. He says it's going to be an emotional time for him, and that's understandable. In athletics, we've known of him for a long time. The World Junior title he took at 15 years old in 2002 seems a lifetime ago now in track and field, doesn't it? But look what he's achieved since in our sport.
And indeed, he was a superstar before he even ran his first ever 100 meters race. And this, of course, is this distance. And what a superstar he proved immediately when he turned to that distance, following his early successes at 400 and at 200. Now his big moment.
I think it's pretty courageous too to say you're going out after you've taken part in an event like this. You could say it, you know, sorry, it's not before you're taking part. You could say it after when you win, but he said it now, so he's really got to put the pressure on himself to do well.
One at a time into the arena, starting with the man contesting his first global final.
So the men's 100-meter final, the glitz and the glamour of the athletes being introduced. In lane number 9, a massive roar for the 21-year-old Reece Prescott from Great Britain and Northern Ireland. An outstanding championships for this British new athlete. Whatever happens, he's a world finalist. Su of China. Jimmy Vico of France. 9.86 at his best. Justin Gatlin from the USA. 5 successive Olympic or World Championship silvers behind Usain Bolt. Johan Blake from Jamaica, the second Jamaica in this final. 10.04 in the semi-final, a former world champion. Akane Simbini of South Africa, 5th in Rio, the South African record holder. Christian Coleman, the fastest man in the world this year from the USA, the fastest qualifier from the semi-finals. And listen to the roar. The fireworks are lit. The flashbulbs are going mad. The familiar smile of the fastest man the world has ever seen. The chanting starts again. Usain Bolt will line up in lane number 4.
How our sport's going to miss him, aren't we, eh, really? There's a massive, massive gap when he goes, it really is.
Well, they'll do their final preparations. Blocks will be put in place. Bolt himself wasn't happy after the first round proper with the starting blocks. The adjustments would have been made. The practices, no doubt, on the warm-up track would have been made with the blocks. The bright spikes, the flashy spikes. Inside these spikes on the insole, every major gold medal performance is printed. The place, the event, the winning time. It's a good job he's got big feet, right? Because there's a lot to fit in those pair of shoes. All the global medals, 11 world golds, 8 Olympic golds.
And this is it. Individually, this is it. The very last time in a competitive context that Usain Bolt will explode, hopefully, from the blocks. Just the relay to come after this. And that is why so many people have made their way into this stadium. What a privilege for the tens of thousands gathered here. Nobody will ever forget they were here and saw the very last individual race.
Well, down in front of us, to our left, as you look at a shot, a beautiful shot of the London Stadium, Usain Bolt pushes out, tests his blocks, and gives the crowd a round of applause. There's Christian Coleman. He'll line up in lane number 5. Has the American got the mental strength to dethrone on his last individual race the fastest man of all time. There's your lineup then once again for the final of the men's 100 metres. For the final time, you'll see the name of Usain Bolt in an individual lane. The atmosphere here in London is electric. So here's your lineup for the men's 100-metre final. Bing Jianzhu of China starts in lane number 2. Jimmy Vico of France, 7th in Rio last year, 8th in Beijing 2 years ago. The French athlete starts in lane number 3. He's 31 years old in a couple of weeks. The greatest of all time, 9.58 over 100, 19.19 over 200. The 11-time world champion goes in 4. Lane 5, Christian Coleman, world leader, 9.82 seconds. Fastest to qualify for this final. In lane 6, Akane Simbini of South Africa would have been buoyed by the 2 medals that his teammates just won in the long jump. Lane number 7, Johan Blake, the equal second fastest of all time, 9.69 seconds. In lane number 8, a silver medalist in Rio last year, a world champion over the 100 and 200 metres in 2005, Justin Gatlin from the USA, and completing the lineup. A wonderful reception for Reece Prescott of Great Britain, the UK champion, a personal best in his heat of 10:03, qualifying for the men's 100-metre final. The final individual race from the greatest of all time. Can the ending of his amazing journey have the fairy tale finish? The final of the men's 100 metres. For one last time, Usain Bolt settles in his blocks over the 100-metre distance. Well, it's a clean start, it's a good start by Coleman. The American's flying in lane number 5. It's the American leading the Jamaican at the moment. It's going to be Coleman, but on the outside in lane number 8, unofficially 9.94 seconds. Well, was it Gatlin in lane number 8? Was it Coleman in lane number 5? The crowd drops. Justin Gatlin with a time of 9.92 seconds is the world champion here in London. The 5th fastest of all time at 9.74 seconds. The American athlete out of lane number 8 was poised, was controlled. His teammate Christian Coleman, 2/100ths of a second behind, picks up the silver for a US 1-2, and Usain Bolt in his final individual race runs 9.95 seconds for bronze. The fairy tale in the individual event wasn't to be for the Jamaican. It was a close race, but America get 1 and 2.
Well, the fairy tale was all through his career, really, as far as I was concerned. Yes, it would have been wonderful to finish on a gold medal, but in the end, it's a tough race. He came into this race knowing he wasn't in the best shape, because he wanted to be here in London. He wanted to be here and be in front of this crowd to finish off his event. And look at the way that he's getting a reception from the crowd. Absolutely fantastic.
The whole stadium are stunned. Justin Gatlin, after 5 successive silver medals behind Usain Bolt, is the champion of the world. Coleman held his nerve brilliantly. Such an inexperienced athlete internationally. He took the silver. It's not the fairy tale we were expecting, but we should still celebrate, commemorate, and revel in all that Usain Bolt has brought to our sport for the last 10 years. There will never be another like him, even if, at the end, it reads the last individual medal as bronze instead of gold.
Still the biggest multiple medal winner in the history of men's World Championships. This is his 14th, and of course, every chance of winning another, and he ties Merlin-Ottey on the women's record as well. And Gatlin now, the most medals at 100 metres in World Championships history with 4.
Well, I mentioned Usain Bolt burst onto the world stage, winning that World Junior title at 15 years old. And he will leave with sprint times that may stand the test of time for potentially many, many years to come. Usain St. Leo Bolt, we thank you for everything you've done over the last few years in our sport. Still to come, hopefully, in the relay. But wow, it was a race that Bolt and Coleman were battling in their own little battle, weren't they, Steve, in the centre of the track? And Justin Gatlin dragged on all his experience to pull it out the bag here in London and grab the gold in a world title some 12 years after he won it in 2005.
Well, we were just watching the middle of the field, I suppose, and it looked at one stage as if Usain was coming through strong, but perhaps over the last 2 or 3 metres, the strength that he didn't have in his legs let him down a little bit.
Look at how much ground Usain Bolt had to make up from that poor start. Coleman was putting him under huge pressure. He was sensing Vico as well. This was the section of the race at which for the last 10 years we've seen him soar past everyone. It just wasn't there tonight, and maybe he really is bowing out at the right time. However, there's one more chance for gold, not individually, but the relay still to come.
Well, he's talking to the crowd here, thanking them for the support that they've given him. He does love racing in London. And let's not forget, he did talk about retiring after the Rio Olympic Games and then had a change of heart and concentrating just on the single event that he said is easiest to train for, which was the 100 metres. So to even have him here in London and talking about him for another season, of course, has been a pleasure. But the tightness in his shoulders, Peter, we never see Usain Bolt tight like that, do we?
No, we'd hoped, I think, perhaps above hope, after the semi-finals, that he really was back to something near the sort of form which would take him to gold. It wasn't to be. I suppose that's a bit of an anticlimax. I suppose there'll be a lot of sadness among the crowd, but it is time to pay tribute to a superlative, wonderful career which has transcended athletics as one of the great superstars of world sport that we've ever seen.
You've only got a short life, I think, on this earth. And if you can experience something like that, this man and his career over the time that you've been here, I think you've been very privileged indeed.
Well, indeed, and as an athlete, you only have a small window of opportunity, don't you, to perform at a high level, whether you're stopped through injury or illness. Sometimes the window's not open as long as you'd like. But for Usain Bolt, since 2008, when he burst on the scene and in world terms for the public and broke the world records, his list is absolutely endless, and it's been a pleasure for all of us to witness the career of the greatest of all time. And hopefully we'll see him in the relay towards the end of the championships. But every single person here tonight, as you said, Rob, has seen Usain Bolt run his last individual race and gets a chance to say thank you as well.
You've hit the nail on the head, Catherine, because yes, it's the result that none of us expected, least of all him, I should think. He still goes down as the greatest sprinter in history, even if he's finishing with an individual bronze medal over the 100 metres. He has absolutely transcended the boundaries of sport. He says he wants to be remembered as someone who could be considered in a conversation alongside the likes of the late, great Muhammad Ali and Pele. Well, he is in those conversations, and when he's seen around the world in whatever guise it may be in the future, as an ambassador for athletics, as an actor, as a footballer, whatever it is he wants to do next, he will be revered, he will be treasured, not just by Jamaica, but by sports fans all around the world, because he's done it right from the very start. with an incredible sense of fun, and he's taken everyone with him on a journey that none of us will ever forget.
And if you look at individually his season of 2017, it's not been an easy one for him even to get to this point to race and challenge for a medal. Injury problems, the passing of his close friend, Olympic silver medalist high jumper Jermaine Mason. He lost 3 weeks of training, mourning the loss of his good friend. So such is the level, the talent and the testament to Usain Bolt that he's come and delivered another major championship medal. And a word on Christian Coleman as well, though, picking up a silver medal, the young American. He's forfeited his last year at the University of Tennessee. He's turned professional. He's just signed a 7-figure 3-year contract with a sportswear company. Is he the future? When you look at Gatlin's age as well now, because Gatlin's getting older and older, he's not going to be around for a long time. I think that Christian Coleman actually committed himself and performed above and beyond where his experience should have normally allowed him to have done.
Well, particularly after the extremely hectic demands of a collegiate season, which he's faced all through this year, to maintain that form in the ultimate challenge with the World Championships, with the eyes of the world on that particular race. Yes, that's testimony to a superstar of the future.
Yeah, in a way, I don't know, I just feel sad at this moment. Not that the fact that he's lost, just the fact we're losing him, full stop. And that's something which I can't come to terms with, I'm sorry, because everywhere you go in athletics, every time you go to a major championship, this man has been so entertaining. And I can't see how we can replace him.
No, that charisma can never be replaced, I'm sure. There'll be great athletes, but the combination, and look at those scenes there, really.
I'm sure that was his mum, his mother under the scrum. There she is in the centre there.
Yes.
His mum and dad have travelled, of course, and been so supportive throughout his whole career. How proud must they be of their little boy?
Well, little boy, yeah, but he's actually changed the way people look at the 100 metres. It used to be thought that this was a race for short, squat men who could get away quickly, and the rest of it relatively short. Maurice Green, say, at 5'10" or whatever. But Bolt's height, some people say, well, you can't run 100 metres if you're as tall as that. He can, could, has done.
He's coming to you, just back off.
The only point we haven't made, and we haven't made it because we haven't seen him lose in a major championship since Osaka 10 years ago. Look at how gracious he is in defeat. Look at how much time he's giving everyone with the selfies. Rudyard Kipling said, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters still the same, then you'll be a man, my son. And how proud his parents must be. Yes, it's a bronze and it's not the gold. He's still bringing joy to everyone who has paid money to be here and part of history tonight. And history, it still is. Not the history we'd planned on seeing, not the history we hoped that would be written, but it's history nonetheless.
Between myself and Steve, we're getting emotional. I can't look at Steve Ovett at the moment. He's going to set me off crying. It is emotional, though, isn't it? Because, as you say, Steve, it's emotional. We've been blessed to watch him for so many years. He's become such a big part, as Peter said, of our sport. I'm sure and I hope he'll stay involved in some shape or form. I wonder how much relief he has in him now, though, because he's done what he wanted to do. He's now going to bow out, and I think it's fair to say he enjoys his life off the track, and quite rightly so as well, when you've worked as hard as he has over the years. And there's still thousands in here, isn't there, still chanting Usain Bolt's name, because they know that it's the last time individually they're going to see him.
I don't think there's anything more we can say. As you said, I'm getting sort of quite emotional, which is rare for me, trust me. And Kath's in tears. Rob is never in tears, but I think he's been quiet, which I think for Rob is summing it up, really. And I can't say much more than that.
I guess, like everyone else, I'm stunned that it wasn't the golden finish we were all expecting. And I'm sure what we're feeling in the commentary box is exactly what people are feeling in bars, in their homes, in sports clubs, all around the world. No matter what the time difference, perhaps you've had to stay up into the middle of the night to watch this last individual race from Usain Bolt. He's shown a touch of humanity, humility and class this evening, despite the fact that he is no longer the world champion over 100 metres.
So they chant again, and they will do until they lose sight of him. They're going to still chant his name. But confirmation then of the result of the men's 100 metres. Gold to the USA with Justin Gatlin. Silver also to the USA with Christian Coleman. Usain Bolt picks up a bronze. It's the season's best. It's another medal for the collection. And Johan Blake from Jamaica comes in fourth in that final.
And the times were good. A headwind, still under 10 seconds, still on this cold night, because we had wondered whether they would be slowed a lot. Put that in a hot weather conditions and all the rest of it, that would be very quick indeed. And these celebrations could go on and on and on, and so they should.
We've got to be positive about Bolt tonight. We've got to focus on the grace and fun that he has brought to this sport for more than 10 years. And I think we've spoken about this off microphone a couple of times, how nice that Usain Bolt has stated on record that his #1 memory, and we're hearing this from an 8-time Olympic champion, his #1 memory is winning the World Juniors at the age of 15 in Kingston in 2002. That says a lot about the man.
And I was actually there for that event. I actually saw this gangly, well, I'd say he's probably not as tall as he is now, but gangly sort of individual, this young boy, come round the 200 metres, and it was something quite special. It really was. And from there on in, he's just got better and better.
Well, boxer David Hay, ringside seat, track and field wise, of course. So many people were trying to watch this either in the stadium or on television, and understandably so. I think the emotion, though, guys, comes from the fact of what you see is what you get with Usain Bolt. A nice guy on the track, but a lovely guy off the track. There's no, so I think the public, and outside of his athletic achievements, he's just not just well respected, but really well liked, because he is just a nice guy.
Just a nice guy, yeah. But
he's a nice guy, though. Do you know what I mean? Though he's not. There's no airs and graces. What you see is what you get. He genuinely believes it, and he genuinely appreciates it.
I wonder what his expectations really were coming to this race, because he must have known he wasn't absolutely at his peak. He must have wanted to win, but look at him now. There's no, oh, if only I'd won or whatever like that. He's just carrying on. He's recognised the end of his career. He can probably look back on the whole thing. I suppose he would have loved to have gone out with a gold, but it doesn't really seem to matter to him.
And I guess there he is, still delivering, saying, get out the way, let people see me. There he is. I think he's achieved everything. If you had said to him, probably even before he became World Junior Champion in 2002, you will be the first man in history, and who knows, the first and only man in history to do the treble-double over 100 and 200 metres, he would have taken that. And I think we ought to mention, Catherine's touched on the fact that he lost his great friend Jermaine Mason earlier this year. As he was getting towards this last season of competitive action, perhaps that loss has further reinforced his understanding that there is a life outside athletics, and to lose someone so close to you in the manner in which he did has probably given him a sense of perspective that he didn't have before the tragic incident that took Jermaine Mason's life. I hope he just enjoys his retirement and enjoys, maybe just enjoys a rest from all the attention and all the publicity and all the training.
But all the training, just a time to reflect on the sheer hard work that he's put in over the years as well. It's easy to take the sheer brilliance of such an athlete, but he's worked for it, and now he can thankfully rest for it.
Well, here we go. He started the queues of interviews, the lap of honour understandably took a long time. But all the three medalists, Usain Bolt, Justin Gatlin and Christian Coleman, have got a few interviews ahead of them after that men's 100-metre final.
Well, those still here will always be able to say they saw Usain Bolt for the last time in an individual race. Not the outcome Bolt was expecting, but it has been a very memorable night here in the Olympic Stadium. There is the medal table. The United States on top, thanks in part to that gold and silver 1-2 for them in the 100 metres. Almaz Ayana and Tirinish Dibaba going 1 and 2 in the 10,000 metres, and that's why they're second in the table. Many changes still to come between now and the end of the championship. We are 2 days in, and there is still a lot to look forward to. And I'm sure there will be more than a solitary bronze for the Jamaicans by the end of the championship. And Usain Bolt will hope to be part of a gold in the 4x1. Final reflections from everybody on a night that we weren't expecting, really.
But it's still a real privilege, isn't it, to be at real championship action. Some things don't go right, but we're seeing the absolute apex of the sport, and we're really privileged to be here at such an event, and it's been a privilege tonight.
What can you say? The greatest of all time has bowed out of individual athletics. It's been a pleasure. It wasn't the story that he wanted or the fans wanted, but it was a great night of track and field. Lots of medals won. South Africa's superb. Men's discus was brilliant as well, and we said goodbye to the greatest of all time.
Well, goodbye, yes, indeed. But some great performances. Mustn't forget that Ayana in the 10,000 metres, Mayunga in the men's long jump. But this man, obviously, even though in defeat, has become the king yet again.
Usain Bolt will always be treasured and never be forgotten. Good night.